Out of the past, phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale, a terribly strange bed.
Jack Westcott was the best friend I ever had. He was the gayest of people. That was until we left America. I was writing a book about historic murder cases and had come to Paris to do some research work. Jack was fascinated with my work. Strangely fascinated. Almost horribly so. He enjoyed finding twisted minds and probing them. His hunger for crime was bound to end in tragedy. On the last evening of our visit in Paris, we were walking on the left bank of the Seine River when Jack noticed a crowd gathered about our old friend, the head of the Paris police force, Inspector Duval. I was in a hurry to return to the hotel to finish writing my murder manuscript. The deadline was in the morning. But Jack insisted on stopping.
What's the excitement all about, Duval?
Well, hello, Mr. Westcott. Still looking for ancient murders, Mr. Manning?
Not tonight, Duval. Ancient or otherwise.
Stick around, Mr. Manning. I'll show you a murder the likes of which you've never seen before. Okay, boys. Drag it out of the river.
What is it, Inspector?
A corpse, Monsieur Westcott. A corpse that's been squashed thin as a piece of paper.
Oh, let's see it.
Oh, what do you mean, thin as a piece of paper?
Hey, bring it over here, boys. Right under the gaslight.
Horrible-looking thing, isn't it?
Horrible and fascinating. Why, it looks like it got squeezed in a giant press.
We've had an epidemic of these corpses lately.
Any idea who's doing it?
Not even a vague notion, Mr. Hey, you. You, the fat man.
You mean me, Inspector?
Yes, I mean you, fat man. How come you're always around when we pull a corpse out of the river?
Why? I enjoy murder.
You enjoy it? You enjoy murder?
It appeals to my sense of the artistic.
Oh, it does.
Well, there's something fascinating about these bodies. Something for a connoisseur alone to appreciate. The symmetry of the remains. The beautifully flawless flatness of the corpse. The hollow in the stomach. Lying in this puddle of gaslight, this mass of flesh and bones makes a nice picture. I should enjoy painting this if I could paint.
I know what you mean, fat man. But wouldn't you prefer probing the mind of a man who conceived this crime?
A man's mind is his secret self. Well, enjoy the ghastly spectacle, my friend. Enjoy it. Good evening, gentlemen.
All right, men. Take the body down to the morgue and try and find out who it is.
Come on, Burke. I'd like to follow that fat man.
In heaven's name, why? He's nothing but a psychopathic case.
I want to satisfy a hunch.
Well, if you're such a good detective, why don't you join Scotland Yard?
Why, I might, Burke. I might at that. Where the devil has that gross piece of flesh disappeared to now? He was right in front of us until we turned this corner.
Well, we've lost him, Jack. And I don't wonder. We've passed through every side street in the whole city. If you ask me, he knows he was being followed.
Good. If he knows, he'll show his hand sooner. Now, the only place he could have gone around here is into the back door of this house. I wonder what house this is.
It's a gloomy dump. Let's go back to the hotel, Jack. I've got to finish that manuscript tonight.
Looks like a public bar to me. The La Belle Tavern. Are you coming with me, Burke, or are you going home?
I'm with you, old boy. I brought you to Paris, and by heaven, I'm going to return you to America.
Now, this must be the doorbell. Here goes. And Burke, no matter what I do tonight, Don't worry.
Come in, gentlemen. Come in.
You were perfectly right, fat man. Those two Americans did follow you. They're sitting at the bar inside.
The Americans value their lives so slightly. Amazing, isn't it, Cecilia?
Their lives. Our lives. They might be cops. I don't want to get my neck in a noose.
To be quite candid, I am not interested in your neck. You're so impatient, and impatience is an evil ascribed to the very young. It might be a pity if you are not allowed time to cure yourself of that evil.
Don't threaten me, you fat pig. You pig.
I'd hoped to slap some sense into that lovely but empty head. Obviously, my stupid pigeon, those two Americans are wealthy. They would enjoy our roulette table. If you would show them to it. Remember, I'll talk to the croupier, and he will take care of the wheel of fate. If you don't do your part well, you'll face a lifetime in jail.
What happens if they get wise? Room 16?
But, of course.
Let me go.
I knew you'd understand.
Yeah, I understand. There's something so gay about Americans, I always say. I hope you boys don't mind if I stick around.
Well, Miss...
Not at all, miss. Not at all.
You can call me Cecilia. How about another drink?
Oh, that's fine.
3 more of the same, bartender.
What do you do for a living, Cecilia?
Oh, I model in a dress shop.
I don't believe you, Cecilia.
Jack, stop ribbing the girl. She's a good kid.
I'm on the level. I'm interested in it.
Here's the drinks.
Thanks.
Why do I interest you?
Well, because you're fairly easy to figure out.
Am I? Why?
You really want me to tell you?
Sure I do. Well, here's mud in your eye.
Touche.
Oh. Potent stuff, Jack. Potent stuff tastes like cyanide.
Well, Cecilia, I'd say you're a poor girl who lives in the slums. But you're pretty. Prettier than anybody in your entire neighborhood. Well, let's see. Then you must have met a man.
What of it? I'm no saint.
He promised you a lot of doodads, and suddenly you found you'd committed your first crime. Let's say murder.
What'd she do? Set her mother on fire?
Oh, well, for that, let's have 3 more drinks. Bartender, 3 more. Well, now, let's say it really was murder. The second murder wasn't so hard. And the third was easy, wasn't it?
I never had nothing to do with the murder.
Well, for the sake of argument, let's say you have. But inside of you all the time is this wanting to be liked, wanting to be on the level. But your so-called friends, they don't trust you, Cecilia. Someday they'll double-cross you.
Here are the drinks.
Thank you.
Nobody'll ever double-cross me. Well, here's mud in your eye. Drink up, boys.
Is there anything else to do around here?
You seen the gambling rooms?
Gambling rooms. Ah, that's me. Who runs those gambling rooms, Cecilia?
I don't know.
One of your friends? A fat man, perhaps, with a long nose?
I don't know the owner. Gosh, you're real nice.
Is the fat man in the back room now?
Probably. Gambles here a lot. Do you replay?
Sure.
Well, come on, Jack. We'll see who's right, my books or your instincts.
Number 21 wins.
Jack, the fat man's in the corner of the room.
Yeah, I saw him, Burke.
And he saw you, old boy. Don't think he didn't.
Come on, boys, let's play.
Money, money, money. Place your bets, gentlemen.
They'll make some room for us over here. Come on.
25 here.
Hello, Cecilia.
Hello, Monty Lauriard. You playing again? I thought you lost every cent you owned last night.
A desperate man finds desperate ways to raise money.
Even murder, eh? You heard about it.
Perhaps, and perhaps not.
I'd like you to meet some new friends of mine, Monty. This is Jack Westcott and Burke Manning. Monty Lauriard.
How do you do?
Money, 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 gentlemen. Place your bets.
I bet 30 francs on odd.
How about 100 francs on number 13?
Good boy, Jack.
The play is dead. Round and round the little ball goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
Hey, Burke, I feel a little dizzy.
You had too much to drink, pal, and those drinks were strong.
Number 13 wins.
I
Good for you, American. Lucky for you. I won the first time I ever played here, but never again.
Money, 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 money.
That was the first time Jack won on that incredible evening. But as the ball spun, his winnings increased. The table seemed to have gone crazy. Jack became gambling drunk. The croupier seemed desperate as that wheel spun round and round, each time increasing Jack's winnings. The room was tense with excitement, and even the little thin loser Loyard seemed surprised.
Monsieur Westcott, your luck is phenomenal. You've won 30 times. 30 times.
Jack, you won a fortune, man. Stop now before it's too late.
Leave him alone, Burke. Let him play if he wants to.
Sure, let me play if I want to. I want to break the bank.
Careful, monsieur. Let me warn you. Careful.
Jack, it's almost midnight, and I've got a lot of work to do tonight. Please, let's go. And remember the fat man.
The fat man be hanged.
Here, Jack. Have another drink.
Thanks, Cecilia.
Jack,
I will.
be sensible.
Stop being an old auntie, Burke. I'll see you later at the hotel. Make the book have a bloody ending. I'm in the mood for a good murder tonight.
Remember, Jack, I warned you. Goodbye.
Money, 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 gentlemen. Place your bets.
I told the croupier you wanted to see him back here, fat man, but it wasn't the croupier's fault the American broke the bank.
That is for me to decide. Where is the American now?
Outside. Buying drinks for the house.
Good. That ought to keep him busy.
You called for me, monsieur?
Yes, I did. I'll need you too, Cecilia. Shut the door. I don't like to frighten our patrons.
I'm sorry about the wheel, monsieur, but it was broken and I couldn't control it.
That is unfortunate for you.
What are you going to do, monsieur?
Come here.
Don't put your fat hands on me, fat man. Let me...
Don't fight the fat man. You can't move, can you, croupier? Because if you move, my arm will break your neck. Call my men, Cecilia. I might need a little aid with the stupid fool.
What are you going to do, fat man?
Have his brains pressed out of his body in room 16. His mind is no good where it is now.
No, monsieur. Please, monsieur. Not room 16. What's that? What was that, Monsieur Loriot?
We'll probably be luckier if we don't ask questions.
I want another drink.
Jack, listen to me. Put on your hat and coat and leave this place. You're being watched all the time.
Who's watching me?
Hello, Jack.
Oh, have a drink.
No, Jack. You've had enough to drink. Leave this place right away.
She's right, Jack. You must leave. I'll see you home personally. Come on, then.
No, no, you don't, Money Loriot. I know your tricks. The last man you saw home was found with a dagger in his breast.
How come you're so interested in me, Cecilia?
Because you're the first person who ever treated me decent. Oh, please go home.
All right. Sooner or later, every woman develops some mother complex over me. Now, I don't want to be mothered.
Who is trying to mother you, my friend?
Oh, hello, fat man. Cecilia is.
She's developed a rather latent maternal instinct. I think a maternal instinct is out of place tonight. After all, tonight's a night for celebration.
Yeah, the fat man's right. Celebration. Bartender, open a bottle of champagne.
Bartender, champagne. Champagne for Monsieur Westcott. Won't you join us, Cecilia?
Yeah. Of course I will.
Here is the champagne, monsieur.
Won't you drink with us, Monsieur Loriot?
No, thank you, fat man. I don't think so. I never enjoyed toasting to death.
Dead? Open the bottle, bartender.
Good night, Jack. And good luck.
Good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.
Here's the handkerchief, fat man.
Oh, Jack, your money is all tied safely in your handkerchief.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you. Oh, where'll I put the handkerchief?
It would be wisest to tie it to your belt.
I feel dizzy, fat man.
Oh, you need a cup of good hot coffee. That will straighten you right out. Cecilia, go in the kitchen and fix our friend a cup of coffee.
But I really...
Don't tell me, my little pigeon, that your hearing is failing you.
I'll get it right away.
I'm glad we're alone, fat man. I want a chance to talk to you.
Talk away, Jack.
Tell me confidentially. Why do you enjoy seeing a mutilated body dragged out of the river?
There's beauty in death.
In the act of death? Or in the recovery of a body after life has left it?
In both.
Then, do you enjoy committing a crime?
Perhaps. Perhaps it would be pleasant to watch a man die. Slowly. Very slowly. In order to see life leave the body. Say that you and I watched a murder by pressure. What would happen?
I'm interested, fat man. What would happen?
The face is the first part affected. It would turn red. And the victim would probably feel hot blood pounding in his brain. Pounding like steel hammers.
Mm-hmm.
Then his eyes would feel sore, as if the fluid creating sight were ebbing. Slowly away.
That would be painful?
Painful but glorious. His face would discolor. The pressure on his chest would be so great he'd try to scream, cry out, but he couldn't. He wouldn't be able to move, not a limb, not a muscle. He'd be paralyzed. I'd see to that. And in that moment, all the horror that is in man's mind would be indelibly imprinted on the brain until a sudden crushing noise would blot out thought.
And what would that crushing noise be?
The pulverizing of the human bone.
Here's the coffee, fat man.
Ah, let me see it. Tastes all right. Here you are, Jack. This will fix you.
No, I don't think I want any. If you'll pardon me, I'm so dizzy. So frightfully dizzy.
Oh, of course you are. Here, Jack, drink it. Drink it, my friend. My good, good friend.
If you don't want to drink it, Jack, don't.
Open your mouth, my friend. It will sober you very quickly.
No,
Open your mouth.
No.
There. Now, how do you feel?
I'm sick. I'm sick. It's dope, isn't it? It's dope. Let me... Oh.
Our friend Jack is asleep, Cecilia. Call the bartender. I think our friend will spend the night with us in room 16.
Monsieur Manning! Monsieur Manning! I've been looking all over Paris for you, monsieur.
You've been looking for me?
Yes, I've called every hotel in the city trying to find you. I know you don't remember me, but I met you earlier this evening at the La Belle Tavern. My name's Loriot of the Paris Police Force.
Yes, of course. Well, won't you come in? Where's Mr. Westcott?
I had to leave him at the tavern. He wouldn't listen to me. You see, monsieur, I've been assigned to watch that tavern. It's been under suspicion for several weeks.
Oh, great Scott, man. Where's Jack now?
At the tavern. He's carrying an enormous amount of money on his person. I know the fat man will never allow him to leave with that money.
Why don't you raid the den?
Unfortunately, we can't. We have no proof. As a matter of fact, they might not harm him at all. But just in case, I thought it might be a wise idea for you to go down there. You can go to the door and ask for...
Yes? What do you want?
You're the bartender, aren't you?
I am not Napoleon's grandma. What do you want?
My friend Jack Westcott hasn't come back to the hotel as yet. We've been waiting for him, and I thought that he probably decided to spend the night here at your place, and
Your friend is not here. Go home, American, before you get yourself in more trouble than you can handle.
Who was it?
The other American asking about his friend. Where are you going?
Upstairs. To take Monsieur Westcott a candle, like the fat man told me.
Be sure the fat man told you, or else...
I'm sure. Very sure. Jack, I brought you a candle. Are you asleep? Wake up, Jack. Please wake up. Please. Maybe if I shake him. Wake up. Oh, I hate to slap you, but your life depends on it.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, wake up, wake up.
Cecilia, my dear. Jack. Luckily, he's still asleep. Come, Cecilia. Let our friend sleep.
I'm so sick. So dizzy and sick. Why didn't she let me sleep? Oh, I feel paralyzed. I can't move at all. Just as if I'm drugged. Maybe if I concentrate on the room, I'll go to sleep. Funny that a French gambling house should have a bedroom. What is an old English four-poster bed doing in a French room anyway? What a heavy canopy over my head. So solid-looking. Almost as if it were made of steel. The mattress is so hard. I must concentrate on something. The picture above my head. It's just even with the canopy. Oh, an evil-looking Spaniard with 5 feathers in his head. The eyes moved. I'm certain of it. The eyes moved. I wonder if I dare look up again. I was sure there were 5 feathers. Now there are only 4. 4 feathers. 4 feathers. Now 3 feathers. I wonder who's outside my door. Try to sleep. No, look at the picture. What? The feathers have disappeared. I can barely even see the face. God in heaven. The canopy is being lowered on me. That's what it is. The canopy. I can't move. The paper-thin corpse. Oh, I gotta move. It's coming closer. Closer. Oh, squash me. Oh, I must move. I can't. Oh, it's almost down. Halfway down. Oh, I move. Oh, just to crawl out of bed. Oh, if I get a crawl out of here. I'm safe. Safer than that horrible contraction. Now to get out of here. The window. Open the window slowly. I'll crawl to the window. Now, if I can push the window open slowly, very slowly.
The bed must have clamped down on him by now. Listen to me, men.
Push the window open. Oh, it's stuck.
Be sure and deliver the money back to me.
There. Now to open it wide enough to crawl through.
You can raise the canopy now. Let's go in, gentlemen.
Help! Help somebody! Help me!
Get that done before I
Help! Somebody!
Got him.
Help at the window!
If the bed didn't work the first time, Mr. Westcott, I've ways and means of making it work the second, and perhaps it would be more pleasant to watch life ebb out in front of me.
No.
Place him carefully on the bed.
Let me go.
Good. This ought to prove most enjoyable, Mr. Westcott. It's a pity you haven't my detached viewpoint. Put him in. Then lower the canopy.
No.
This way, Bert. Up this way. Hurry, Mr. Laurie. I can hear the bed moving.
Cecilia, you fool! Get Jack out of that bed. Jack, boy, here. Hold on to me. I'll drag you out.
Don't you put your hands on me, lawyer.
What's into there? Let's take care of the bartender on one side.
I'm all right, Burke. Don't worry about me. Oh, Cecilia.
I'll help her. Let me go, Cecilia. Don't push me.
Help me, Laurie. Help. No, you don't, fat man.
You little...
No, you don't. You're on the mic of me, a Frankenstein. There. Try to get out of your own bed now.
Well, Inspector Duval, that's the story. Laurie and Burke were waiting outside all the time. They saw me at the window, and Cecilia let them in.
Close shave, eh?
A lucky escape. Lawyer and I pulled him out of bed just in time, and Cecilia pushed the fat man under the canopy as it closed down.
It must have been a horrible sight, Burke.
Well, what about Cecilia, Inspector? What would they do to her?
Unfortunately, the police can't find her. And I've instructed them not to look too hard.
Pages of the past, we have heard the story, a terribly strange bed. Bellkeeper, toll the bell. Phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale. The murders in the Rue Morgue.
Gentlemen, please, may I have your attention? Very well. I didn't ask you to come to my humble apartment tonight to endeavor to stun you with my superior knowledge of crime and criminals. I've asked you here only to prove to you that the murders in the Rue Morgue present no great insoluble mystery.
Monsieur Dupin, if you think the case is so obvious, tell me, who is the murderer?
He will be here shortly, Monsieur le Prefect of Police.
Here?
Who is it? A murderer here? In this place?
Gentlemen, I give you my word as a man of honor that he will be here in my apartment at precisely 10 o'clock this evening.
How can you be so sure?
I have asked him to come. It is exactly 9 o'clock now, gentlemen. And in the hour remaining to us before we meet the murderer, I shall explain to you as simply as I can how I managed to arrive at my conclusion.
Yes, do, Monsieur Dupin. I'm always interested in guesswork.
Guesswork, my dear fellow? This is not guesswork.
No?
Now, gentlemen, let us retrace the case. The story begins, if I'm not mistaken, with Madame L'Espanaye and her daughter Camille on the afternoon of December 16th, 1841.
Well, of course, you're correct so far anyway, Dupin.
I bow, Monsieur le Prefect. Madame L'Espanaye and her daughter Camille entered the Bank of France at precisely 2:45 in the afternoon to transact important business.
Ah, Madame L'Espanaye, I've been waiting for you.
So good of you, Monsieur Le Bon. Have you met my daughter, Camille?
I don't think I've had the pleasure. How do you do, mademoiselle?
How do you do, Monsieur Le Bon?
Are you quite sure, Madame L'Espanaye, that you wish to withdraw all this money at this time?
Quite positive.
But 4,000 francs is a great deal to keep about one's household, madame.
I'm quite aware of the danger involved, Monsieur Le Bon. But if the bank keeps this withdrawal quiet, nobody else need know that I have a sum of money in the house.
Well, things do get about, madame. There's no use inviting unnecessary danger.
The danger is my problem, Monsieur Le Bon. I think we'd better let the matter drop at that.
Have you any protection against possible thievery at home, madame?
No, monsieur, but Mama and I have protection enough. We bolt and lock our doors. It's absolutely impossible for anybody to enter the house unless he should break the door down.
But does any male protector live in the house?
My husband died many years ago.
Madame misunderstands me. I'm only asking these questions for your own good. 2 unprotected women living alone in a large house can invite trouble.
That is our problem.
If Madame insists.
And I do insist.
Very well, Madame. I have the money here. I myself will see you both home to ensure safe delivery. But let me warn you now. The minute you arrive in your home on the Rue Morgue, the Bank of France resigns all future responsibility.
We understand, Monsieur Le Bon. We understand perfectly.
Interesting thus far.
So, gentlemen, the first step in this little tragedy was completed. Madame L'Espanaye and her daughter insisted on taking the money home from the bank. Monsieur Le Bon drove them in his carriage to their house, the large, bleak house number 12, Rue Morgue. When they arrived there, Monsieur Le Bon looked about for the gendarme who was in charge of that particular block.
May I help you out, Mademoiselle Camille?
Oh, thank you, Monsieur Le Bon.
Madame?
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that the gendarme on the corner? The gendarme usually on this block?
Not having had any reason to talk to the gendarme, Monsieur Le Bon, I wouldn't know.
Yes, I think it is, Monsieur.
Gendarme! Gendarme!
All this fuss over a little money. Really, you'd think we were incapable of taking care of ourselves.
Well, I think Monsieur Le Bon is very thoughtful, Maman.
Gendarme!
Coming, monsieur, coming.
Do you live on the first floor, Madame L'Espanaye?
On the 4th floor in the back of the house. I own this house, and I've shut up all the other rooms.
You mean this entire house is unoccupied except for...
You called me, monsieur.
Yes, I did. I want you to keep a special watch on this house for the next week or so. Madame L'Espanaye and her daughter will have a considerable amount of money in the house.
I will watch the house like a watchdog.
You would be better off if you did it like a man. Then you'd use your head instead of your feet.
Monsieur.
What is your name, gendarme?
Gendarme Isidore Musée.
Very well. Gendarme Isidore Musée. I leave these ladies in your care.
You needn't worry about a thing, mademoiselle. And madame.
I'm sure we won't. That is, as long as you don't spread the news around the neighborhood that we've got 4,000 francs hidden here in the house.
Who, me, madame? I am the law. And your secret is safe with me.
Come along, Maman. I'm getting hungry.
Yes, dear.
Thank you so much for all you've done, Monsieur Le Bon.
It is nothing, mademoiselle, nothing at all. Just a courtesy extended by the Bank of France.
I'll keep good watch, be assured of that. I'll keep very good watch.
Gentlemen, let us proceed to the next event. Gendarme Isidore Musée kept a very good watch on number 12 Rue Morgue. At 11 o'clock the evening of the tragedy, he strolled into the shop 2 doors away from number 12 to buy a pouch of tobacco and to chat with his very good friend Pierre Moreau, a tiny man known as the neighborhood gossip.
Good evening, friend Isidore. Good evening.
Evening.
I've been waiting for you. Yes, I've been waiting for you. You usually drop in at 9 o'clock. And I said to myself, as I sat here waiting for you, I said, where's my good friend Isidore?
It's been a busy evening this evening.
That's what I said to myself. If Isidore doesn't drop in to buy his usual box of tobacco, he's busy. There must be big news abroad, but then how could there be big news abroad on this block? That's what I said.
You were wrong, Pierre. Very wrong.
Wrong, eh? There is big news. Thievery?
No.
Murder?
No.
Well, then, I give up.
It's a secret.
Secret? What could be a secret? Somebody got married. That's no secret. Somebody died. That's no secret either. A child is ill, a contagious disease, an epidemic, all Paris will be infected?
No.
Well, I can't guess.
If you promise not to tell a soul...
Oh, not a soul.
Well, Madame L'Espanaye...
Yes?
And her daughter Camille... have withdrawn 4,000 francs from the bank today... and have it hidden in the house somewhere.
No.
And I must stand on guard.
Naturally.
But don't tell a soul.
Oh, not a soul. On my honor, not a single soul, Isidore. My word of honor. I swear it now.
And so, by midnight, gentlemen, the entire neighborhood in the Rue Morgue was buzzing.
4,000 francs in the L'Espanaye household.
I hear it was 10,000.
2 women all alone.
Imagine it. 20,000 francs.
I wonder where...
And all that jewelry must be a veritable fortune hidden away.
Do you know that they say she's got money hidden in every corner of the house?
Imagine almost 1 million francs in that house. I always knew there was something strange about those 2 women living all alone in a house like that. And in the rear, 4th floor.
Yes, sitting in the bedroom of the 4th floor rear. But while the neighborhood was busy gossiping and chattering, Mademoiselle Camille and her mother were completely unaware of the commotion they had caused. It was almost 3 a.m. Camille had just finished undressing, and her mother was sitting in front of the mirror, brushing her hair, so that they didn't notice the window opening in back of them.
so tired, Mama.
Poor Camille. It's been a very busy day.
You know, I thought that Monsieur Le Bon was very nice.
He seems fairly affable.
Oh, Mama, fairly affable. I thought he was perfectly charming. So concerned over us.
No man ever gets that concerned over me. Must have been you, darling. All men sit.
Mama, look in the mirror.
Stay calm, Camille. Don't
Mama,
move.
he's got a razor in his hand.
Don't move, Camille.
Mama, quick. Let's hide. He's coming closer.
Where, Camille? Where shall we go?
Into the closet, Mama. Quickly, Mama, into the closet.
Close the door.
Mama, he'll break the door down. He'll break the door down, Mama.
Watch out, Camille. He's breaking it down.
Help me, Mama. Help me,
Terrible. How awful. Quite right, gentlemen. Simply ghastly. We fully realize that this is a horrible atrocity, but we must remain factual. While all this was going on the fourth floor of number 12 Rue Morgue, the gendarme Isidore Musée, the little tobacconist Pierre Moreau, Monsieur Le Bon, who, strangely enough, was in the neighborhood at that very moment, and a passerby, a sailor, all four were attracted by the screams of the two women and immediately tried to break into number 12 Rue Morgue.
Now stand back, everybody, while I break the door down. Stand back. This is the gendarme's job.
Break it down, Isidore. Break it down.
Well, come. Follow me, everybody. Up these stairs to the fourth floor.
I'm right behind you, Isidore. Right behind you.
Now on the next flight. Keep going. Wait a minute. Wait. Listen to that. He's speaking Italian.
No, it's Russian, Isidore.
No, Italian, Pierre.
I think it's Polish.
How would you know Polish, Monsieur Le Bon? Have you ever heard Polish spoken?
No, but listen again. I think it's Dutch he's speaking.
Dutch, Polish, Italian, Russian. And none of you know what you're talking about.
He stopped speaking, hasn't he?
Yes, probably escaped.
Yes, probably. I wonder.
Try the door.
Can you open it, Isidore?
No, it's locked.
I think we're too late. I'm sure of it, sailor. I warned you about the gendarme.
Well, let's break the door down. 1, 2, 3. Look.
What? Oh, the entire room is wrecked. Just exactly as if a maniac had torn up the place. The bed's torn apart.
Yes. I've sailed the 7 seas, but I've never seen a place look like this in my entire life.
Monsieur Le Bon, where are Mademoiselle Camille and her mother?
I don't know. They're not in here.
Look. Where?
There in the fireplace.
Oh.
It's Mademoiselle Camille.
Dead.
Yes. Dead. Poor girl. Here, help me, somebody.
Yes,
help me lift her up.
Look out this window.
Huh?
The old woman is lying in the courtyard below.
The sailor's right. Absolutely right. She's lying in the courtyard below, dead as a dead fish. Oh, probably twice as dead.
Somebody is guilty of this. Somebody. And as a member of the Paris police, I mean to find out who that guilty person is.
Yes, gentlemen. Isidore Musée, gendarme, swore up and down that he would find the murderer. Well, at 4 o'clock that morning, I was awakened from a sound sleep and called to number 12 Rue Morgue to examine the evidence. Monsieur le gendarme Musée was running around the room destroying the evidence, or at least what little evidence there was, as fast as he unearthed it. The 3 gentlemen who had been there with him were still waiting round out of a combined feeling of horror and curiosity. The sailor, whose name escaped me, was sitting on what was left of a bed, staring blankly around the room. Monsieur Pierre Moreau, the tobacconist, was watching Isidore Musset, the gendarme, play detective. He played it badly. And Monsieur Le Bon was the picture of dejection. I entered the room and gazed about while Isidore supplied me with all the facts in the case, at least from his point of view.
And that is exactly what happened, Monsieur Dupin.
Very interesting, Monsieur Isidore Musset. And now, gentlemen, I wish to ask just a few questions.
No, go ahead.
Now, all of you seem to think you heard the voice of the murderer.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, we did definitely.
No doubt about it.
And you, Monsieur Isidore Musset, you are positive that the murderer is an Italian?
Positive, Monsieur Dupin. Absolutely positive. I could tell by his intonation.
Do you speak Italian?
Oh, no. Definitely not.
Have you ever heard Italian spoken?
No, monsieur, never. But I imagine...
Yes? You imagine what?
Oh, I imagine it would sound like that.
I see. And you, Monsieur Le Bon, you said it was Polish.
Definitely Polish, without a doubt.
I judge you have lived in Poland a long time yet?
No, but I heard Polish spoken once.
Once? Yes. That makes you an excellent judge of the Polish language. How about you, Monsieur Pierre Moreau? What language did you say it was?
Russian, I thought, but that's only a guess, since I admit, and I admit it very freely, I'm not a man to hedge. I've never heard a word of Russian in my life.
I thought so. And how about you, sailor?
I thought it was Dutch. I don't speak the Dutch language, but I have heard a considerable amount of Dutch spoken when I was in Holland 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
I don't mean to make a suggestion, Monsieur Dupin, but Monsieur Le Bon was the only man beside myself who knew about the money being kept in this house.
What are you insinuating, Monsieur Musset?
Insinuating? I'm an officer of the law, and I think it was very peculiar that you should just happen to be in this neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Don't you live in this neighborhood, Monsieur Le Bon?
No, but I've good reason to be here.
Oh, so? Suppose you tell us.
Well, I was worried about Mademoiselle Camille. I was rather attracted to the young lady. And, well, I had a feeling that there would be trouble over the money. Well, I was in the corner cafe having some tea until about 10 minutes before the murder occurred.
And then you strolled by the house on your way home, correct?
Quite correct.
Yeah, my tobacco store is open all night.
All tobacco stores are open all night, Monsieur Pierre Moreau.
I was just walking by. I didn't steal the money.
But naturally. Nobody stole the money. It's in the safe behind this wall.
Huh? Are you positive, Monsieur Dupin?
Perfectly obvious that the money hasn't been touched. These murders were far too cruel to be instigated by man's greedy desire for financial reward. Here, let me open the safe and show you. I happen to know an interesting combination that will open any safe. I should have been a thief. So, there. That ought to open it.
Oh, it did.
Naturally. Now, look. There's the 4,000 francs, safe and snug as a 4,000 franc group of notes should be.
Well, perhaps Monsieur Le Bon was interrupted in the midst of his thievery. Perhaps he didn't have time to finish.
Well, nonsense. Monsieur Le Bon was with you when you walked up the stairs.
Well, an accomplice, perhaps.
No, Monsieur Isidore Musset. Let me show you something. Look at the fingerprints on this girl's neck. Very strong, heavy prints. And very large, too.
Why, yes. The murderer must have been a giant. His hand must have been twice as large as mine, and I have a large hand as hands go.
Yes. The murderer was a giant. A giant with extraordinary strength. Gentlemen, I think now I have sufficient clues. Look at this window.
It's just a window.
Yes, just a window with a cord on it. A broken piece of cord. Clue number 1. Clue number 2. Look at the dead girl's hand.
Huh? Oh, she has some hair clutched in her hand.
Quite correct. And with this cord and this hair, I can find the murderer. Gentlemen, go home. Go home, get a good night's sleep, and I'll hand the murderer over to the prefect of police very soon.
Monsieur Dupin, don't forget to mention that I helped you. I'm due for promotion soon.
That's very extraordinary.
I don't care, man.
And so, messieurs, that is the story. And you have the fact. A piece of cord and some hair. The condition of the room, the strength of the murderer, the passion of the deed, the lack of motivation should all suggest to you the very same thing it suggested to me.
Monsieur Dupin, you are talking in circles.
Circles? So? You mean to say you still don't know who the murderer is?
No, of course I don't know. And frankly, Monsieur Dupin, I don't think you know either.
Oh, really, gentlemen. Really, gentlemen, you amaze me. Here, Monsieur le Prefect. Examine this piece of cord, if you will. What do you make out of it?
A piece of cord, yes. Well, let me see. Well, it's a piece of... Well, nothing except that, it's been torn.
Yes, it's been torn. Now,
yes.
Try to tear it yourself.
Well, well, I couldn't. It's a very, very strong cord.
Ah. Notice anything else?
Yes, now that I look at it, it's got a very unusual knot in it. But what does an unusual knot prove?
You will see what I mean presently. It's the first stroke of 10 o'clock. Any minute now, gentlemen, the murderer will enter this room. May I please ask you to extinguish all the candles in the room, all except one.
Why, Monsieur Dupin, we'll all be murdered.
Which would be no great tragedy, but I wouldn't worry if I were you.
Well, as you say, Monsieur Dupin. Extinguish the candles, gentlemen.
Yes. Now we are in semi-darkness. That is fine. Listen, gentlemen. The downstairs door to my pension has opened and closed. The murderer is now downstairs. He is walking up the stairs. Now listen. Yes, listen.
For the love of heaven.
Quiet. He is coming closer. Gentlemen, are you ready to grab him when he enters?
Yes, Monsieur Dupin.
That is good. Good. He is standing outside my door now, Monsieur le Prefect. Ready, gentlemen?
Yes.
Come in. Grab him.
Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
So it is you, sailor. Help the sailor to sit down.
It was a trap, huh?
Yeah, but this sailor doesn't look strong enough to commit these murders.
Let me go! Let me go!
Don't
Let me
struggle.
go, I say!
Please don't struggle. You see, sailor, Monsieur le Prefect cannot arrest you for the murder because, although you are responsible for the crimes, you are not guilty.
I'm not guilty. I'm not. I couldn't help it.
Of course you couldn't. Gentlemen, it must be obvious to you now that no man murdered these two women. The only creature able to do it would be a Bornese orangutan.
Orangutan?
I matched these hairs I found in the dead woman's hand, and of course they belong to just such a creature.
An orangutan.
Yes, Monsieur Dupin is right.
But tell me, how is this sailor involved?
I owned the animal. Dupin put an ad in the paper saying my orangutan was captured. Oh, that's why I'm here, to claim it.
But didn't you realize that Monsieur Dupin knew that the murder was an orangutan?
No, I didn't think anyone could solve the murders. But I did know that whoever put the ad in the paper knew that I was the owner of the animal and that he was keeping what he thought was a perfectly innocent animal.
You see, I addressed my ad personally to this sailor. This piece of cord told me a sailor owned it. There was a sailor's knot in the cord, and the knot was peculiar to those tied on Maltese vessels. Therefore, when I put the ad in the paper, I asked the sailor from the Maltese vessel, I checked on the name of the vessel from the sailing data in the paper, to come and get the beast.
Well, naturally, I came to pick him up.
Ah, now I see.
One question I must ask, sailor. How did the orangutan get hold of a razor, and how did he manage to escape?
I had the animal locked in my quarters. I captured him in Malta and brought him to this country to sell to the zoo. They're very smart, you know. For last night, when I entered my room, he was trying to shave with my razor. When I tried to chain him up, he escaped. He ran out into the streets, saw the light in number 12, Rue Morgue, climbed up the lightning rod to the ladies' apartments. Well, you know the rest.
Indeed we do. Well, gentlemen, if you have any other problems you wish settled, call on me. Just call on Monsieur Auguste Dupin. Incidentally, if you'd like to see the orangutan, you'll find it safely locked up in the zoo.
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you the immortal tale, Murders in the Rue Morgue. Bellkeeper, toll the bell.
Hook, wait. Come back here.
Wait, nothing. I said you were nuts, crazy. And... No. Oh, don't.
I'm sorry, Hook. Very sorry. But I had to have it. I'm going to have it. And once you're dead, you'll never miss it.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Dead Hand. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of terror and retribution by one of radio's best-known mystery writers, Robert Newman. Its title, The Dead Hand. The small studio cottage on Dr. Martin Trent's estate. Seated at the piano, alone in the gathering darkness, is Roger Blaine, the famous pianist, and playing as only he can play.
Can't you hear me, Lorna? You must hear me. You must come here now to me. I'm calling you, Lorna. Calling to you in a way you could never resist. With my music, making your heart beat faster, your breath come quicker. Lorna!
Hello, Roger. Am I disturbing you?
Always, Lorna. Just as I disturbed you. As we disturbed each other since the first time we met.
Martin's out at the hospital, and I heard you playing, so...
That's not why you came, Lorna. You came because I called you. Because you promised you'd come and give me your answer.
What we talked about last night, my going away with you? Roger, I must have been mad. I don't know what got into me.
Don't you, Lorna? This is what got into you. My music. Telling you things I never could tell you in words.
Roger, stop. I can't think when you play like that. I can't leave him. He's my husband. I love him, respect him.
Can you love a surgical instrument? Can you compare what you feel towards him with what you feel now, this minute?
No, it is different. Roger, how can we? He's your friend. It was he that brought you here, gave you the cottage.
And haven't I given him anything? Music like this. Music such as no one has ever heard before.
Roger,
Lorna, listen to me. To what I'm saying here. I love you. I need you. It was you who helped me find depths within myself I never knew existed. You've got to come away with me. You owe it to me, to yourself, to the world.
Roger,
you
please.
Want to. You know you want to. And you're going to.
Roger, no, I can't.
To.
I tell you,
You are.
All right.
Lorna.
We can talk to Martin when he gets home tonight. Tell him. I think he'll
No, Lorna,
understand.
there'll be no talking, no explaining. My car's outside and we're leaving right now. The music, my music, was still with me as we drove out through the gates, down the highway, pulsing, throbbing. Yes, I could hear it, but could Lorna? I glanced at her sitting there beside me. Happy, dearest?
What? I don't know, Roger.
You don't know? Don't you realize what this means, Lorna? I'm playing better than I ever played before, and this is only the beginning. After my New York concert, South America, then Europe.
Roger, are you sure you love me? Me as a person?
Well, what do you mean, Lorna?
I know you've said you do, but whenever you've talked about it, Roger, about us, you've talked in terms of your music. Roger, are you sure that's not what you love?
Well, of course I'm sure. If I didn't have my music, if I couldn't play, I don't think I could live. But it was you. You who lifted me to heights I never dreamed of, technically, emotionally.
Roger, stop the car, turn around, take me back.
What?
Take me back.
I don't understand.
I do, for the first time. With Martin away so much, I was lonely, flattered by your attention. And your music was like a drug, keeping me from thinking. But now I can think. And I know you don't love me, and I don't love you, so please, Roger, take me back.
No.
But, Roger, can't you see? This whole thing was a mistake.
It was not a mistake. And I won't take you back.
Well, I'm going back, whether you take me or not, and if you won't stop the car...
Laura, no! Let go of that brake! Let go! That's it! Look out! We're going When I opened my eyes, I was in a bare white room in a hospital. Standing next to the bed were Lorna and Martin.
Hello, Roger. How are you feeling?
What? I don't know. What happened?
You were out driving with Lorna. The car got out of control and you had a smash-up. They rushed you here to the hospital and, well, you've been here for 2 days.
Smash-up? Yes, I remember. Are you all right, Lorna?
Yes, Roger, I was shaken up.
Oh, my hand hurts. Especially the fingers. Nothing happened to it, did it, Martin? I've got a concert in a few weeks, you know.
Roger, don't stop it.
What? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh,
Don't worry about it, Roger. Not now.
Well, I've got to know. I've got to see.
Roger, please.
It's gone. Gone. My hand. My left hand. Martin. What did you do to me?
Roger, I think you know how I feel about you, about your music. You've got to believe me when I tell you there was nothing I could do about it. Nothing. It was your hand or your life.
My life? And what is my life without my music? It's nothing. Worse than nothing. A living death. Why didn't you let me die?
Don't say that, Roger. We'll do anything we can. There must be something.
Something? There's just one thing. You've got to get me another hand.
We will, Roger. There have been some wonderful developments in prosthetics
No,
as a result of the war.
I don't mean an artificial hand. I mean a real hand.
What? Roger, you're mad.
No, I'm not. You took my hand and you'll get me another one.
We'll talk about it some other time.
You think I'll forget about it, don't you? Don't you? Oh, I won't. I say I'm going to have another hand, and I will have one. And what's more, you're going to help me get it, do you hear? You're going to help me.
was able to get up and around a few days later. I didn't talk to anyone if I could help it. Because somehow I couldn't ever look at their faces. Only their hands. Big hands and little ones. Long-fingered ones and stubby ones. Yes. They each had 2 hands. And I to whom my piano meant more than life, had only 1. Then, sitting alone one evening, I met Hook. I looked up, and there he was, a small, slight, sharp-featured man.
Hello. Nice evening.
Yes, I suppose it is.
You mind if I sit down for a couple of minutes?
No.
I wouldn't usually bust in on anybody except that... Well, I'm getting out of here tomorrow, and I feel pretty good about it.
Oh? What was wrong with you?
Bad heart. I'm going to have to take it easy from now on. It's going to make it kind of tough in some ways, but... you don't happen to have a cigarette on you, do you?
Well, yes, I do have. It's, there. Well, at least I did have. Silver cigarette case. Can't seem...
Is,
Find...
this it?
What? Oh, yeah. Where did you find it?
In your pocket.
You mean you took it?
My name's Harris, Joe Harris. You usually call me the Hook. This is my racket. Or rather, it was until I...
You're a pickpocket.
Well, wanted the best of business. But now with my ticket going bad, I guess I'll have to lay off, except like now for a gag. You didn't mind, did you?
Mind? Well, certainly not. I'm very impressed. As a matter of fact, do you mind if I look at your hands?
Look at it? What for?
They're beautiful. As beautiful a pair of hands as I've ever seen. It occurs to me that you say that you don't know what you're going to do when you leave the hospital here.
Well, I just hadn't thought about it much. Why?
I've got a proposition that might possibly interest you.
No kidding. What?
Well, I'd rather not discuss it with you here and now, but I expect to be leaving here myself on Friday. If you'd like to come and see me sometime after
You
that.
say where and when?
Well, I've been staying at a little cottage on Dr. Martin Trent's estate. I'll probably be going back there. How about Saturday night, late, around 11:30?
Fine. Okay with me.
Then it's a date. I left him there, hurried back to my room. I wanted to be alone. Had to be alone, for I was afraid that what was on my mind might show in my face. It certainly was a date. A date with death.
A man obsessed, half mad, and his unsuspecting victim. Will both of them still be alive to hear it when the clock strikes 12 for... Murder at midnight. Here is Roger Blaine to continue Murder at Midnight.
I did leave the hospital on Friday, went back to the little studio cottage. By Saturday night, my arrangements were completed. They weren't very complicated. I made it clear to Lorna and Martin that I wanted to be alone, and I picked up a length of iron pipe. The pipe I hid inside the piano when I heard footsteps coming down the path. There was a knock on the door. Come in.
Hi. Not too late, am I?
No, you're not too late.
Hey, pretty nice place you got here.
Yes, it is quite nice. Sit down.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Now, what's this here proposition you want to talk to me about?
It's a very simple one. How would you like to make $10,000?
What do I have to do?
You don't have to do anything. Just sell me something. Your left hand.
What? You're nuts.
No, I'm serious. I've got the money right here in cash.
I don't get it. I just don't understand.
Look, I'm a musician. I'm a pianist. Or I was until I lost my hand. If I can't go on playing, then life doesn't mean anything to me, my own life or anyone else's. But you, how important is your hand to you? Now, an artificial one will do almost as well. And you can live for quite a while on $10,000.
You mean you really thought I'd sell you my hand? Let you cut it off? I'm getting out of here.
Look, wait.
Wait, nothing. I said you was nuts, but I didn't really think... Oh, what are you going to do with that? No, don't. You can't. Some way, somehow I'll get you with this. I swear.
I'm sorry, Hook. Very sorry. But I have to have it. I'd rather not go into what happened after that. I got rid of the body. And then I went to see Martin.
You don't look well, Roger. Anything the matter?
No, I just came to see you about your promise.
My promise?
Oh, your debt, whichever you choose to call it. I told you I wanted another hand, that I was going to get another hand, and that you were going to help me. Well, now you can help me.
What do you mean?
Look in here, in this package. See?
Good Lord. Where did you get this?
It might be better if you didn't ask too many questions. I'm fighting for my life, for more than my life. You took my hand away from me. Well, now you can give me this one.
You mean you honestly, seriously think that I can perform an operation of this sort, do a graft, and that after I'm finished, you'll be able to use the hand?
Why not? Operations of this sort have been done, haven't they? With other parts of the body? The eye?
The cornea, not the eye. And some nerve grafting has been done. But this... Look, Roger, I know what a shock this whole thing has been to you. Know it better than you. You're not a well man.
A well man? I'm only half alive, and I'd rather be dead than go on living this way. But if I do die, I won't die alone. That's why I brought this along.
Roger.
I've got it. Quick, easy, painless. If you won't do what I want, you die. And so does Lorna. Both of you, along with me.
You don't give me very much choice.
No.
All right. You win. Get me to the hospital.
Even before I became fully conscious, before I opened my eyes, I knew that it had been done. That it wasn't his hand anymore, but mine. Still, there was something wrong. I couldn't analyze what it was at first, but it was there. A feeling that something wasn't quite right. That perhaps it wasn't entirely my hand. I sat up. The hand was a mass of bandages, stiffened with splints. And inside the bandages...
Careful, Roger. Don't touch them.
Huh? Oh, Martin, I didn't see you.
I've been here with you ever since last night.
Last night? You mean I've been out that long? 24 hours?
It was very important that you keep quiet. You've been under sedation.
Oh, yes, of course. This isn't the hospital.
No. I brought you home with me, back to the house.
Oh.
I thought it would be best for several reasons.
Oh, that's very smart, Martin. We don't want any questions, do we? Not yet. You did do it, didn't you?
What? Yes.
I knew you would and could. And it's going to work. It is working. I can feel it.
Please, Roger, you must be careful with that bandage. You can't touch it, move it, disturb it in any way.
I won't, Martin. But I don't have to. I tell you, I can feel the fingers moving, even inside this. And in another week or so...
We'll see.
Yes, we'll see. Got a cigarette, Martin?
Of course, I have it right. That's funny.
What is?
My cigarette case. It was right here in my breast pocket. I must have left it downstairs at the hospital.
It doesn't matter. I can do it. Martin.
Yes?
I think... Yeah, it's here. Here it is. Under my pillow.
What? How did it get there?
I don't know. It must have fallen out when you bent over. But... no.
Why are you looking like that?
Because... I think I know how it did get under my pillow.
What do you mean?
When fingers learn something, a special skill, they don't forget it, ever. Mine never have. Even when I'm not thinking of what I'm doing, they go on playing by themselves. These fingers here, they haven't forgotten either. You understand?
I'm afraid I...
Forget it. I'm awfully tired all of a sudden, Martin. Would you mind?
No, Roger. I'd like you to get as much rest as possible. There's a friend of mine coming here tomorrow to see you. The doctor.
That's fine, Martin. I'll see you in the morning. Yes, I was tired, but that wasn't why I asked Martin to go. I did it because I wanted to be alone, because I had to be alone. Because I knew now what it was that I'd only sensed before. The hand. Hook's hand. Had a will of its own. It had picked Martin's pocket without my even being aware of it. I lay there alone in the darkness after Martin went, not touching the bandages, but flexing the fingers, forcing them to obey my will. I had to do that. I knew I had to do it because I suspected what might happen. And what did happen proved that I was right. I fell asleep finally. And while I was asleep, I dreamed. I dreamed I was walking down a dark, labyrinthine corridor somewhere under the earth. Then...
A little closer, Roger.
Huh?
Just a little closer.
Who's that? Who's there?
Just me. Waiting for you.
Hook!
Yeah, Hook. I said it'd get you. Well...
Out of the darkness came a hand that clutched me by the throat, gripped it tighter. 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 I fought against it, tried to scream, and woke up. Yes, I woke up. And my waking was more horrible than the dream, for the hand was there, gripping me by the throat, moaning, exerting every ounce of my strength and will. I fought it off and pulled it down. I lay there, bathed in a cold sweat, staring at it, feeling the fingers quivering inside the bandages. My hand or his, I was tied to it now. Tied to a thing that was seeking to destroy me. Shaking convulsively, I leaped out of bed. I ran out into the hall and down the stairs to the living room. The piano. That was the one thing that might save me, save my reason. Seating myself at the piano, I started to play, using only my right hand at first. But I tried to force left hand, his hand, to join in. Then suddenly...
No, Roger.
No.
That won't work. No music.
Stop it. Stop it. Do you hear it? It's my hand now. It's mine.
No, Roger. Never.
But it is. I'm stronger than you are.
Nothing is stronger than I am. Nothing in the world. And there's no escape. Because we're one now, Roger. And wherever you go, I'll be there, too.
It's not true. It's not. What are you doing?
Just a little closer to the desk, Roger. A little closer. That paper knife.
No, you can't.
But I can, Roger. I told you I'd get you somehow. Some way.
Put it down. Drop it.
You can't fight against me, Roger. I told you. I'm too strong.
Martha! Martha! Quick! For heaven's sake! The hand!
Where is he, Martin?
The living room. I heard the piano and... Good Lord.
Martin!
He's dead.
Why? How? He was saying something about a hand.
He was in a completely psychotic state as a result of shock and a sense of guilt. The state psychiatrist was coming tomorrow to commit him.
Oh, Martin.
That hand he brought me wanted me to graft on. I don't know where he got it, but I suspect that was behind the whole thing.
Behind it?
Yes.
Well, what do you mean?
You don't really think I did graft it on, do you?
Why?
He was desperate, and I had to do something to quiet him. I splinted his left wrist, wrapped it in bandages, and told him not to touch them.
But, Martin, that paper knife in his chest.
Which hand is holding it?
His right one, his good one.
Yes. And still, in a way, it's possible that the dead hand, the one he was so concerned about, did guide it.
Her eyes wide with awful comprehension, Lorna stares at her husband, then down at Roger Blaine's body as, somewhere in the silent house, a clock starts chiming for murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when death stretches out his bony hand and the clocks strike 12 for murder at midnight. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight is directed by Anton M. Leader.
This is the place for it. Deep down under the city, under the earth. The concrete cold and damp as the stone of a mausoleum. The question is, which one of them shall it be? You, sir? You with the gray hair and the briefcase. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Death.
Midnight. The witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Man Who Was Death. Now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of Mystery and Terror by Masters of the Macabre. Our story by Robert Newman is The Man Who Was Death. It's late afternoon in the studio of Jan Rolfe, the sculptor. The rays of the setting sun come through the smoke-filmed glass of the skylight at an angle, casting long, dark shadows on the dusty floor. His face intense, Rolfe stands before a more than life-size head of gray granite, cutting away some of the hard stone, then pausing to examine his work.
It's still not right. I still haven't got it. And I don't know where I've gone wrong. The eyes, they would be brooding and half-closed. But shouldn't they be all-seeing? Let's try it. Who's that? Who's there?
It's Aline, Mr. Rolfe. Aline Moffat.
Aline? Oh, yes.
Just a second. What is it, Aline?
I told you I wouldn't be able to get here until late, Mr. Rolfe, that I was going to be modeling for Clayton in the early afternoon, but you said it didn't matter.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
If you don't need me, don't feel like working.
No, it's all right. Maybe it would help if I worked on something else for a change. Come on in.
Something else? Oh, that head.
Is that the first time you've seen it?
Yes. You always kept it covered up before. It looks very powerful.
Powerful, eh? Go on over to it, closer. Tell me who you think it is.
All right. It's a man. Pretty big man.
Man. I knew it wasn't right. But if that's all you get out of it... Where's that mallet?
Mr. Rolfe, what are you going to do?
This, I'm going to smash it! Almost 6 months' work, but... There! You know what that was supposed to be? Death! Yes. For centuries, man has been haunted and obsessed by the fear of death. I'm going to do something no artist has ever done before. Show mankind the face of death.
Mr. Rolfe, I don't think I feel like modeling this afternoon.
You're frightened. Why?
I don't know. The whole idea of...
You, too. What I wanted to show was the beauty, the peace that lies in death. Death's strength and inevitability and... Wait a minute.
I'll phone you tomorrow, Mr. Rolfe.
I said wait. It's beginning to come to me. What was wrong? To do a study, portray something, you've got to understand it, inside and out. You've got to know how your subject thinks, feels, project yourself into it. To do a study of death, I've got to know all those things about him. I've got to become death. And that means...
Mr. Rolfe, no, you can't.
But I can, Aline. I must. How can I understand death, become death, if I don't kill?
Miss Craig?
Yes, Nancy Craig.
I'm Jordan, Harold Jordan of Homicide. I imagine you know why I asked you to come down here to the morgue.
They said it had something to do with my roommate, Aline Moffat. Is she...
If you think you can take it, we'd like you to make the identification.
I think I can.
Ah, good girl. She's right here under the sheet. Ready?
Yes. Oh, Aline. How did it happen?
I'll cover her up. Well, we traced the laundry mark. We're pretty sure we knew who she was.
How did it happen?
She was found in the river. But she was dead before she went in, strangled.
Murdered? Oh, but why? By whom?
We don't know. We thought you might help us with that, too. Tell us what you know about it.
There's not much to tell. She was a wonderful girl. Came from out of town, out west somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know it from the way she looks now, but she was beautiful. She used to do modeling.
Any boyfriends?
Oh, no one in particular. She went out with a lot of different men. Everyone liked her. That's why I can't understand.
Who did she model for?
A few photographers, but mostly painters and sculptors. Let me see, there was Jensen, Clayton, Rolfe. As a matter of fact, I think she was posing for both Clayton and Rolfe.
Better this time, much better. Things I can put into it that I never knew. Never felt before. Now, let's see. No! Still not right. Still something missing and not just a shade of expression, but something basic, one of the keys to the whole concept. But what? Haven't I played Death's role, killed just as he does? Haven't I... Wait, that's it. Of course. Is that how death strikes? Without thought, on the spur of the moment? No. He picks and chooses. Decides just who shall die and who shall not. What's missing is the consciousness of power. The knowledge that there is no appeal from death. that he is the supreme authority. And that means that, yes, I must kill again. And this time... Who's that?
Police department. Can we come in and talk to you for a minute?
Why, yes, of course. Just a second. Police. They don't know anything. They can't know. But I'd better cover this up.
Mr. Rolfe?
Yes.
I'm Jordan of Homicide. This is Nancy Craig. Sorry to bother you at this time of night.
No bother at all. Please come in.
Thank you.
I'm investigating the murder of Miss Craig's roommate, Eileen Moffat.
Murder?
You didn't know?
Why, no. I never read the papers. And the last time I saw her, 2 or 3 days ago.
Well, it happened just 2 days ago. Now, we've been checking back. We have an idea that you may have been one of the last people to see her alive.
If there's anything I can do to help, anything at all.
Could you tell us what happened when you did see her last?
Of course. She was due here at 3 o'clock, but actually came at about 5.
Mm-hmm.
She said another artist had delayed her.
Clayton, that's right.
I had already started working on something else, and since she looked so tired, I suggested we call the whole thing off. She seemed pretty happy about it. Left, and I'm afraid that's all I know.
Was there anyone else here? Anyone that actually saw her leave?
I'm afraid not. You see, I'm the only tenant in the building who lives here, and I'm afraid everyone else had gone by then.
Well, that sounds pretty straight to me. I guess that's that. Thanks very much, Mr. Rolfe.
Not at all. Afraid I haven't been much help. But if you can think of anything I can do...
We'll keep in touch with you. And in the meantime, well, maybe you should start reading the papers just every once in a while, huh?
Right. I hope you read them too, my friend. Especially tomorrow's papers. Because I have a feeling that there just might be something in them that will interest you. Night. And a fine small rain. Yes, this is how he would move. Walking slowly through the darkness. Searching. Weighing. Selecting his victim.
I beg your pardon,
What?
sir. But could you tell me if that's the uptown subway over there?
Why, yes. I believe it is.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not at all. Subway. What better place to make my choice than there? Deep under the earth. The concrete cold and damp as the stone of a mausoleum. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yes, this is it. This is the place. The tunnel dark as a yawning grave. The platform edge like the verge of infinity. And this is how he must feel. Studying. Selecting. Which one of you shall it be? You, madam, with the worn coat and bedraggled hat. Why are you looking at me like that? Do you know what's in my mind? Don't be afraid. It won't be you. You, young man, with the books and the glasses? No. Then what about... Yes. Down there at the end of the platform, my friend who suggested this. My prosperous-looking friend with the gray hair and the briefcase. Don't look up at the track so impatiently. A train is coming. But so am I. Good evening.
I beg your pardon, sir, but I'm afraid... Oh, I didn't recognize you at first. Why, you're the chap.
Directed you down here, yes. But I felt that you should know exactly who it was you spoke to. Allow me to introduce myself. I am dead.
What? What do you mean? What are you doing to me? Let go! Let go!
Quietly, the man who is death steps back from the edge of the platform as the train grinds to a stop. A woman screams. Somewhere in the distance, a clock strikes 12 for
Murder at midnight.
And now back to the story of The Man Who Was Death. It's late the next afternoon, and Jordan is alone in his bare cubbyhole in police headquarters when there is a knock on the door.
Come.
Hello, Mr. Jordan.
Oh, hello, Nancy.
You don't seem very happy to see me.
I am and I'm not. It's a nice change to have someone as pretty as you come down here. On the other hand...
You haven't gotten anywhere with Aline's murder.
No motive, no clue, no nothing. I'm afraid we're licked.
But you can't be. You can't give up.
I'm sorry, Nancy. I don't like it either, but, well, it happens sometimes.
But you can't let it happen. Not in this case.
Hey, you're pretty well wound up, aren't you? How about letting me take you out, buy you dinner?
No. I am upset, yes, but...
What's the matter?
Oh, maybe it's nerves. That trip down to the morgue, the whole atmosphere around the case, but... Would you think I was mad if I told you I felt that some horrible power was abroad? That Death himself was stalking through the city?
You and Mrs. Dolan.
Mrs. Dolan? Who's she?
Well, that accident in the subway last night, a guy who fell or jumped in front of a train. Didn't you read about it?
No.
Well, this Mrs. Dolan was one of the witnesses, and she swears that just before it happened, she went all goose pimples, felt as if Death was breathing down the back of her neck, and that she was going to die.
It's true, Hal. I know it is. I mean, well, that's exactly how I felt. I can't remember just where or when, but sometime during these past few days, I felt that I was in the same room with Death myself.
Well, like you said, it's probably nerves. Strain you've been under. Just the same, it's kind of a funny coincidence. I think maybe I'll go see Mrs. Dolan, talk to her. Do you want to come?
I don't believe so, Hal. Somehow I feel we're awfully close to the answer. If I could just remember where and when it was I felt that way, that I was in Death's presence. I think I'll go home.
Okay, Nancy. I'll call you there after I talk to Mrs. Dolan, and, well, maybe we'll find that we really had something.
Just a little more off the cheekbones. Get the gaunt feeling of a skull under the flesh. No, it's still not right. Still something missing. But what is it this time? Didn't I stalk and select my victim? Didn't he recognize me for what I was? Death himself. And didn't... Wait. Of course. It's never just the victim alone who knows, fears, and fights against death. It's all of society, medicine, science, the police. All of man's resources from time immemorial lined up against death. And he still triumphs over them. That is the secret and the measure of his omnipotence. That is the last missing element. And that means that I must kill yet again. And this time, not just the victim, but the whole world must know it and be powerless to stop me. This time... Who's that? Who's there?
Nancy Craig, Mr. Roth. I don't know if you remember me.
Nancy? Oh, yes, just a second.
I'm awfully sorry to be bothering you again, but...
That's perfectly all right. Isn't Mr. Jordan with you?
No, I came alone. Well, there was a little experiment I wanted to try.
Oh, please come in.
Thank you.
Just what was this experiment?
Well, it was probably pretty silly, but I had to try it. Thinking back, I had a queer feeling that What's that?
A bust. Something I'm working on. Something I hope will be my masterpiece. Do you like it?
I'm afraid No. Oh, it's awful. It's terrible. It was here that I felt it. Here in the studio, and And you...
Yes, Nancy. It was I who killed a lean Muppet. And also a gray-haired gentleman with a briefcase in the subway last night.
That piece in the paper, Mrs. Dolan.
Exactly. You see, that bust over there is a study of death. And to do a study, you must project yourself inside your subject. That meant I had to become death. Where are you going?
Out of here, you're mad.
No good, Nancy, no good. I locked the door when you came in.
Oh, but you can't. Well, you can't. Help! Help me! Help!
No good either. We're 5 stories up, and all the other tenants have gone. You came here at a very opportune time for me. I had just decided I needed one final victim. And I'm afraid that's going to be you.
I'll never forget it, Mr. Jordan. It was pretty late, about 12 o'clock, and it was raining. There were only a couple of people on the subway platform, 3 or 4, and I was standing by myself, not thinking about anything in particular, when suddenly this feeling came over me.
What kind of a feeling?
Oh, a feeling that this was the end. A feeling that death was standing there, right close behind me. I got so weak and shaky that I thought I was going to faint. I shut my eyes and leaned against one of the posts, and that's how it was that I didn't actually see the accident.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you turn around when you had that funny feeling? Did you notice whether there actually was anyone standing behind you?
I did. There was just a young fellow with glasses and another man, kind of strange looking, now that I think of it.
Strange? How?
He was about 35 or 40, pretty big. I guess it was his hair. He wasn't wearing any hat, and, well, he was almost white and very long and bushy.
What? Did he have a thin face, gaunt, and deep-set eyes?
Why, yes, I think he did have. Do you know him?
I'm not sure. If I do, then I may know a lot of other things, too. Good Lord. Nancy.
What?
I've got to get out of here.
Just a second, young fellow. Where do you think you're going?
In there. No one's going to... Hanrahan.
Oh, there you are, Jordan. Where the blazes have you been?
What do you mean? What's going on?
A devil of a business. A lunatic in the top-floor studio there. He phoned headquarters, asked for you, said that he had a girl there that he was going to murder. Said that he wanted us to know, even though there was nothing we could do to stop him. We thought it was a gag at first.
Well, what are you doing about it?
Everything that can be done. I've got men all around the building. Up on the roof across the street, outside his door.
Can't you break down the door?
Sure, and finish her off quick. He said that if we tried it, he'd bash her brains out with that big hammer that he's working with.
But there must be something, a Tommy gun from the roof across the street.
He's got her right in front of him, so that if you got him, you'd get her too. I tell you, there's nothing, absolutely nothing anyone can do.
You're wrong, Hanrahan. There's just one person, one thing that can stop him.
What's that?
Death.
Oh.
You're getting impatient, my dear.
Oh, why are you doing this? You know you can't get away with it.
Get away with it. You think I care? That it matters to me whether I live or die when I finish this? I'll never be able to surpass this, but neither will anyone else. I know now how death must feel. And I've caught it forever. For all men to see in stone.
Yes, friend Rolf. You have. And you've made me very proud.
What? Who's that?
You don't know? Even though I've been on your mind for months now? Even though you're just finishing my portrait?
You? Where are you?
Where would I be? Everywhere. Outside in the hall. Down in the street. Here in the studio with you.
Can you be seen? I must see you. I must.
Very well. Walk this way. Over towards the door. A little further. Little further.
here I am, Rolf. Maybe I don't look the way you thought I would.
Jordan!
Yes. Now drop that mallet and get your hands up.
It was you. And I thought...
Get him up, Rolf, I said.
I'll
okay,
get you.
if that's the way you want it.
Help!
It's okay, baby. It's all over now. Have you loose in a minute?
Jordan, are you all right?
Yes, break the door down if you want to come in. I'm busy.
Oh, you got him. But how?
I talked to him through the vent pipe from up on the roof. I figured that if he was crazy enough to do all the things he did do, he might be crazy enough to believe death could pay him a visit. When I'd maneuvered him far enough away from Nancy here, I jumped through the skylight.
Hal, look.
Good Lord.
What is it?
That bust he was working on. He said it was a study of death. And in a way, I guess it is. Because it's a self-portrait.
Two men and a girl staring down at the body of the dead sculptor lying next to his weird masterpiece. But is it possible that there is still someone else in the studio, an unseen presence that has been there since the clock first struck 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death walks through the darkened streets while the clocks strike 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
The part of Jan Rolfe was played by Frank Behrens. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
Dead tired. But I kept on walking through the mist. And suddenly I started hearing footsteps behind me. I turned around, and then I saw him. He was walking along slow, dragging his feet, walking as if he couldn't see. His face was all covered with blood. But I know who it was. It was Miller, the guy I'd killed.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest. Our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Dead Come Back. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by William Morwood will threaten your sanity. Its title, The Dead Come Back. About 1 o'clock in the morning, on a dark, deserted street. Standing in the doorway of a gloomy brownstone house, a man with a wild expression on his face rings the bell desperately. There is no answer, and he rings again. Then...
Hey, Doc Paget.
Why, yes.
The brain doc knows what goes on inside a guy's head.
Well, yes, I'm a psychiatrist.
I gotta talk to you.
It's very late. If you come back tomorrow during office hours...
Now, Doc. Something's been happening to me. Something that's driving me nuts.
I'm sorry, but...
Get inside.
Be careful with that.
He won't go off until I pull a trigger. Better sit down, Doc.
Very well.
Just to make sure we understand each other, I'll put this gun here on the desk. And my watch. We got just half an hour to get everything cleared up.
And then?
And then, I got a guy to kill.
Suppose we start at the beginning. Your name?
Lefty O'Connor.
O'Connor?
So you heard of me, huh?
I'm not sure, but the Tilson murder case.
That's right.
But as I remember
That's
it...
right. They decided I was nuts, put me away. But get this straight, Doc.
Yes?
I wasn't ever out of my head, and I ain't now.
I see.
Insanity was something that I cooked up to keep from burning. I played it up all right. Good enough to make monkeys out of the doctors and the jury. But when I got to the nut house, it was different. I didn't have to pretend no more. You know, Doc, some of them whacks act just as sane as you and me. Yeah, I was getting along fine. Till 2 nights ago, when I was called in to see the superintendent. He was a white-haired old guy, named Miller.
Sit down, Lefty. Cigarette?
Thanks, Mr. Miller.
Here you are.
What's that?
This? Just a music box. Plays when you open the lid.
That ain't just a... What are you trying to do to me?
Oh, what do you mean, Lefty? I just offered you
That's the box they kept talking about at the trial. The one old Mrs. Tilson kept her jewels in.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Lefty.
In a pig's eye. I know what you're trying to do. But I don't remember nothing. Nothing, you hear?
And why does this tune seem to disturb you, sir?
Never mind why. Turn it off.
Yes, of course. Take it easy, Lefty. I called you in here because I want to help you.
You're trying to trick me into admitting I knew what I was doing when I hit old lady.
Nothing of the kind.
Next, you'll be asking me where I hid the jewels. Don't you think I know that routine?
There's no routine here, Lefty.
You're a liar, Mr. Miller. You got me in here to give me the 3rd degree, to try to break me down all over again. Well, you won't do it. Not again. I've had enough.
Lefty, put down that paperweight.
I didn't have no idea of escaping when I hit him, Doc. I was just scared. I was scared of what would happen if he kept after me. When I found a gun in his desk drawer, I began making plans fast. I brought him around. I told him exactly what he had to do. We went out, got into his car, started for the gate. Okay, Miller, it's up to you now.
I understand.
Now remember, I'll be lying back here with this gun against your spine.
Evening, Mr. Miller.
Hello, George.
Going out kind of late, aren't you, sir?
Yes. Something unexpected came up.
You wouldn't be smuggling out anyone under that rug and back, sir, huh?
I might.
Yep, looks suspicious. Just the right shape for a man. But I'll take a chance on you, sir. Okay, Charlie. Open up for the super. Okay, open it up. Good night, Mr. Miller.
Turn the left fork here.
The Ganville Road. I was afraid of this, Lefty. The Tilson Estate's up this way, isn't it?
You're too smart for your own good, Mr. Miller. You can turn off here.
But there's no road.
In under the trees.
All right. What happens now? Do we walk the rest of the way?
One of us does. Get out. You're no use to me anymore.
Let you know. Put that gun away. You can't. You fool. You won't get rid of me this way. You...
I left him there beside his car and started walking. I don't know how long I was at it. Maybe an hour when I hit the outskirts of town.
The light was kind of funny. It was different from anything I'd ever seen. It was kind of yellow. Kind of yellow mixed with a mist that was curling up. Maybe I was tired, I don't know. But suddenly I began to hear footsteps behind me. I looked around, and then I saw him. He was walking on the other side of the road, blind, as if he couldn't see where he was going. And his feet were kind of dragging along. His face was covered with blood. But through the blood, I could see that it was him. Miller. I don't know what happened then, Doc. I must have passed out. Because the next thing I knew, people, faces bending over me.
He's coming too, Tom.
Yeah. How are you feeling, chum?
Hey.
He's as white as if he'd seen a ghost.
Who are you?
I'm Ruth Mason. This is my brother, Tom.
We live right by. We heard you yell and came running out.
Did you see anyone else?
I know.
On the road?
No. You were lying right in the middle of the road till we pulled you off. What happened? The car hit you?
I don't remember.
Well, take his arm. Help him up, Tom.
Okay, sure. Here we go, Mo.
The name is Sims. Johnny Sims. I'm all right.
You look kind of bushed to me.
I've been walking all night. Out of a job, see, and broke.
Well, our house is right over there. You come on in and we'll fix
thanks.
it.
I gotta keep moving.
What's the rush if you're just looking for a job?
Well, Hey.
Cops coming this way.
Probably looking for that man that escaped from the state hospital.
That's right. They said that...
What? Johnny, what's the matter? You look as if you're going to faint again.
I guess I must be worse than I thought. Look, does that invite still hold?
Well, of course. Right this way. Something more, Johnny?
No, thanks, Ruth. Couldn't manage another thing. Full up.
Oh, well, then you lie right down on that sofa. That is, if Tom will get off with his paper.
Oh, sure. I was just reading some more about that guy, Lefty O'Connor, that broke out of the asylum. Seems he forced the superintendent to drive him out in a car.
Please, Tom, let's not talk about it. It gives me the creeps to think of anyone like that being loose.
Maybe he ain't so bad.
He's a murderer, Johnny. A homicidal maniac.
How do you know? Maybe the super deserved killing.
The super?
Yeah.
But the paper doesn't say anything about the super being killed.
Well, Ruth said...
I meant the old lady, Mrs. Tilson.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I must have heard. Maybe I just thought...
I'll try the radio. Maybe there's some late news on it. Though you're probably right, Johnny. The super wouldn't stand a chance.
Sure. The way I figured...
What's the matter, Johnny?
Turn that off.
What?
I said turn it off.
Why?
Johnny.
Hey, what gives?
Well, I'm sorry. I don't like radio.
Oh, it's all right, Johnny. We understand. Now suppose we show you to your room and you take a good long sleep.
I must have slept like a dead man, Doc. It was dark when I woke up. There was nobody in the house. I switched on the lamp and looked at my watch. A few minutes before midnight. Didn't have much time if I wanted to get the jewels and blow town before morning. So I started for the door, but before I reached it, it opened. And standing there, smiling, kind of sad-like, was Miller.
Hello, Lefty. Did you get the jewels?
You! It can't be you. You're dead.
I told you wouldn't get rid of me so easily.
What do you want with me?
Nothing, Lefty. Just what I wanted before, to help you.
You're lying. You still think you can break me, get me to confess, but I'll show you. I must have hit the lights, Doc, or maybe they were never on, because suddenly the room was all dark. I struck a match. I bent down to look at Miller, make sure that he was really dead this time. And I ain't crazy, Doc. You gotta believe me. But the man lying face up on the floor was Tom Mason.
A dead man who came back. And now, a second victim, as the hands of the clock move inexorably to the witching hour. and yet another.
Murder at Midnight.
And now, back to Murder at Midnight. To Lefty O'Connor, sitting in the psychiatrist's office with a gun in front of him, trying to convince the doctor and himself that he is sane.
My hand was shaking so much that the match went out. It was Tom, all right. Tom Mason, dead. But it was better that way than what I'd thought, because it meant that Miller hadn't come back from the grave. I'd probably just imagined I heard him talking to me. I frisked Mason, I got the keys to his car, and went out. It was a little coupe parked in the driveway. I opened the door. I was just getting in when...
Hello, Johnny.
Ruth.
You look a little better than you did before. How do you feel?
Oh, fine.
Oh, that's good. You were sleeping so soundly when I left it. Are you going somewhere?
Well, yeah. There was something I had to do, and Tom told me I could borrow his car.
Oh, all right. I'll go inside.
No, you can't go in there.
Oh, what do you mean? Why not?
Well, I mean, such a swell night. How about a little drive, Ruth?
But what about your errand?
Well, that'll just take a minute. It'll be swell having you along.
Well, I don't know. I don't suppose Tom will mind.
I'm sure he won't.
Well, then, all right. I guess that's one of the wonderful things about life. You just never know when something completely unexpected will happen.
That's right, baby. You just never know.
Why so quiet, Johnny?
Huh?
You asked me to come driving with you, and I do. You don't say a thing to me.
What should I be saying?
Well, you might start by telling me something about yourself.
Like I said, I'm just a guy looking for work.
What kind of a job did you have before?
Chauffeur?
That sounds interesting. Did you work around here?
Why?
I just wondered. You seem to know the roads so well.
Listen, baby, let's not talk about me. I'd rather hear about you.
Well, there's not much to tell. I'm 21, fancy-free, and I work for a living. I'm a nurse in a psychiatrist's office.
A what?
Psychiatrist. A doctor who, well, helps people who are disturbed mentally.
Like people who see things that ain't there?
Oh, yes, he gets a lot of those kind of cases.
What does he do?
Talks to the patients, explains away the hallucination. His name is Dr. Paget, and he's really wonderful. Johnny?
Yeah?
Where are we going?
Why, baby?
We've turned off the main road. This leads past the old Tilson mansion.
What's that?
The house where that terrible murder took place about a year ago. It's all boarded up now, of course.
Yeah, that's the job Lefty O'Connor pulled,
yes.
Huh?
Yeah, he was old Mrs. Tilson's chauffeur.
What?
Chauffeur.
Quite a coincidence, ain't it?
Johnny, you're turning in the driveway.
Yeah. See, a couple of nights ago, I broke into this place to sleep. It was just an empty house to me. I didn't know anything about no murder. I left the parcel behind. I want to pick it up.
Oh, I see.
You think I had any other reason for coming here?
No, Johnny.
Sit tight, baby. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, Johnny. Well, why are you taking the keys?
Just to make sure the car stays here, and you with it.
But of course I'll stay.
You better, baby. Or it'll be just too bad. Pulled the board loose from one of the windows. Climbed into the old house. It was black as pitch inside. That musty, shut-in smell. Felt my way along the wall to the stairs. Climbed to the second floor. The old lady's room was at the head of the stairs. It wasn't so dark in there. Windows hadn't been boarded, and the moonlight was coming in. And I saw that marble fireplace with a gargoyle in the middle grinning at me. So I picked up the poker and smashed into it. And there, behind where I pushed it past a loose brick, was a paper bag containing the jewels.
I looked inside to make sure that everything was safe. Moonlight sparkled on them shiners. And then, Doc, suddenly, out of nowhere, it started. That music started. Stop it! Stop it!
Johnny, where are you?
What? Oh! Ruth, get her to stop. Get her to stop.
Get who to stop?
Mrs. Tilson, that tune.
What tune?
You mean you don't hear nothing?
Well, no, Johnny.
But you must. It's gone now.
Johnny, you're shaking all over. Johnny, what's that?
What's what?
Well, they're all over the floor. They look like diamonds, jewels.
Didn't I tell you to stay in the car? What are you doing up here?
I heard noises and you
were
yelled.
spying on me.
No, I wasn't, Lefty.
What did you call me?
Nothing.
So you guessed it, huh? Okay. I am Lefty O'Connor, and I came back for the jewels. But that information ain't traveling far. Not with you, anyway.
What do you mean? No! Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I was rattled, Doc. The music did it. That and everything else. I left it lying there, and I picked up the jewels and beat it. Started the car fast. Just about hit the main highway when the wheels started acting funny. I stopped and got out to look. It was a flat. My luck had played out. If I took the time to change it, someone might come along, and just then I did hear a car coming. I froze, waiting for it to pass. Instead, it stopped, and...
Hi, Johnny.
Tom, miss!
I got out as soon as I could. Which is the flat?
What? How did you know?
How did I know? Why, you just called me. You told me you couldn't find the tools.
I called you?
Why, yeah. Don't you remember?
No, I don't. I couldn't have.
Of course, it's none of my business, Johnny, but... Look, you've been acting awful funny. I'm beginning to think maybe you ought to go see a doctor. Someone like Doc Paget that Ruth works for.
There's nothing wrong with me. Nothing.
Okay. Get started with this, Jack. The rest of the tools are under the front seat. I'll get them.
No, wait.
Hey, what's this paper bag doing?
Give me that!
You're going in for pebble collecting, huh?
Pebbles?
Yeah, look at them.
Oh, they are pebbles. Yeah? What's happening to me? Oh.
I don't know. But I told you don't look well. Hey, where are you going? Hey, wait a minute. I told you that was a borrowed car.
Get off that ramp, boy. I say get off.
You're nuts, Johnny. You're nuts. You're
Well, there it is, Doc.
Yeah, huh?
It's his story. I kept hearing what he said. Tom. Over and over again. I'm nuts. I'm crazy. But I couldn't stand it anymore. So I looked you up in the phone book and I come over.
Oh, what do you expect me to do, Lefty?
Do? You're a brain doc. I'm not nuts. I know I'm not. Why am I seeing these things? What's happening to me?
Well, it's rather difficult to make a diagnosis this quickly, but I'd say that you were suffering from hallucinations because of a sense of guilt.
Guilt? About what?
Well, it probably started with that first murder, Mrs. Tilson. And it's been preying on your mind ever since. Now, if you could extrovert that, get it out of your system.
But I did.
That's true, but not as a confession, with all that it entails. That's the only way you can achieve a complete catharsis.
Well, that's crazy.
All right. You wanted my advice, but you don't have to take it.
And you think... Okay, I did kill her. I knew all the time what I was doing. I waited for a night when there was only the two of us in the house, and then I beat her brains out with a tire iron. There, I said it, I told you.
Yes, Lefty. And I think that now I can promise you you'll never be troubled by hallucinations again.
You sure, Doc?
Quite sure.
That's good. Because... Remember I said that in half an hour I was going to kill someone?
Yes.
Well, a half hour is up. And you're the man.
Am I, Lefty?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Doc, but you know too much now. You're the only one who does. So...
I wouldn't, Lefty.
Why are you sitting there like that? I shot you.
Yes, Lefty, with blanks in your gun. All right, boy.
Take it easy, Lefty. We got you covered.
No. And Mason.
Did you get it?
Uh-huh. Every
What?
word.
You're cops.
No kidding.
Then the whole thing, letting me escape and everything that happened afterwards was just a trick.
That's right.
You wanted to show I wasn't nuts, get me to confess.
Smart boy.
We made just one mistake, Lefty. Or rather, Ruth did. Following you into the Tilson mansion. She paid for that with her life. But now you're going to pay.
No.
Shut up.
Yes, Lefty, for that and for the Tilson murder. And my only regret is that rats like you can only burn once.
Moving forward, the two grim-faced men take hold of Lefty O'Connor. And Lefty knows that he has come to the end of the road. The road began when he first heard the clock in the old Tilson mansion strike 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death's face peers out of the darkened windows of deserted houses and the clocks strike 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
The part of Lefty O'Connor was played by Joseph Julian. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
That look in his eyes, like a madman. He wants to kill me. Someone does. Like the other three, lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Almost 12 o'clock. Midnight. Any minute now there'll be a ring. Or a knock.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Creeper.
And now, Murder at Midnight. On this program, we bring you the best and most blood-curdling stories ever written. And so now we bring you a tale which you may have heard before. A tale which we consider a classic in terror and suspense. The Creeper, by Joseph Ruskall. In the kitchenette of a New York apartment, a man and his wife listened to the evening news broadcast.
New York. The unknown killer called the Creeper has struck again, adding a third female corpse to his toll. Virginia Peters, a comely waitress, was found strangled to death in her third-floor apartment early this morning while her radio blared. As in the previous murders, a note was found scrawled on the wall with the victim's lipstick, and the plea, "For heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more. I cannot control myself." Police insist...
Now, why'd you turn it
Oh,
off?
how awful. Awful, and in this very neighborhood.
Let's hear the rest. It's very interesting.
Oh, you... Don't go turning that radio on again, Steve Grant. Heard enough. I'll go out of my mind, for heaven's sake.
That's it. A good, solid clue.
What is?
For heaven's sake. How many men ever use that expression?
Oh, shut up.
Okay, Mrs. Grant. Pass the biscuits, my little pigeon.
Pass the biscuits. Eat, eat, eat. 3 women in 3 days murdered in cold blood by a mad fiend right here in Washington Heights. I'm too sick to go out, too scared to stay in. The lock's broke. He sits there eating, eating, eating. Pass the biscuits.
There's nothing wrong with my appetite, my love.
Of course. That's what cost you your job on the police force. When I even think of
Some men drink to escape. I eat.
Escape what? What?
An ugly tongue, a beautiful face, and a roving eye. In short, a wife.
Oh, so you're starting that again. You and your crazy jealousy.
Yeah, maybe that's the Creeper's way of escaping, too, Georgia. Who knows?
Shut up. Go ahead and get a divorce. Go ahead. Can I help it if men look at me? I don't know why you come home at all. Where do you go? What do you do with yourself? Where were you this morning? Why'd you come back?
To eat. But someday I'll lose my appetite for that, too. Yeah, and when I do, my dear, there'll be no escape. And now I'm off again. Kiss. Still using stage lipstick. Wipe it off. How many times must I tell you? You're married now, remember?
Steve, wait.
Yeah?
At least go buy my medicine.
Sorry, I got no time.
Don't leave me here alone. Stay home this evening. Please, I'm afraid.
Oh, don't be silly, pet. Nothing will happen to you. You got a doorman here, an elevator boy, Mrs. Stone across the hall, a phone. You're safe enough.
But the night lock, it doesn't work.
Oh, now you can't lock me out anymore.
It doesn't catch. Something's happened to it since last night. Steve.
Get a new one.
I can't get a locksmith. I've tried all day. Steve, please. If I want to phone you, where will you be?
Out. Goodbye. Take care of your cold. Steve Grant. Huh? Well, if it isn't old Pearly Chase, how are you?
Here you got thrown off the force, Steve.
Yeah, I hear you got thrown off the news, Pearly.
You heard wrong. I wasn't fired. I was just warned.
I wasn't fired either, just suspended for 3 days, eating a lamb chop at Casey's when I should have been ringing in from the box of the 162nd with all that trouble up there. On my way to headquarters now for reinstatement. I eat too much, my trouble is.
I drink too much. Here you're living up at the Heights, Steve.
Yeah.
That's funny, me too.
Yeah?
Here you're married now to a beautiful and lovely young... with admiration.
Say it again.
I think I knew her. Wasn't her stage name Georgia Dixon?
Yeah, that's her. I love that wench, but women. How does a guy handle them? You know, maybe the Creeper has the right method.
Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. Who's the creeper, Steve? Any angles?
You tell me, and I'll split the reward with you. Say, what do you think of Inspector Bradley's inside job theory?
Nuts. Every janitor's a creeper? And as for that doorman, Jim Ellis, just because he worked at 2 of the 3 murder apartments? Pure coincidence. Anyway, they've released him. One thing, though, and I don't think even Bradley's put it together yet.
Yeah?
In all 3 cases, just before the creeper struck, the door locks had already been tampered with.
You don't say.
You got a theory?
Well, sure. I mean, you take that note on the wall. For heaven's sake, in every case, for heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more.
I cannot control myself.
Right.
Oh.
Now, what man uses an expression like that? You want the lowdown? It's just this. A creeper is a woman.
A gimmick, huh?
Yeah.
Like the height of the message from the floor is a trick, 6 feet. And yet I'll lay odds the creeper's no more than a guy your height, say, or mine. 5'9", just like us, you or me. Only crazy.
Yeah? How do you figure that?
How do I figure lots of things? How do I know where the creeper's gonna strike next?
You do?
Certainly. The creeper's not so smart, he's just crazy. You play along crazy and you're 1 jump ahead of him. That's the trouble with Inspector Bradley. Why, he's up a tree. You expect logical clues from a madman? You play along crazy, make out you're the creeper. And what do you get?
Well, go ahead, let's see.
All right, the victims are all redheads, every one. You've noticed that, of course. 3 in 3 days?
Yeah, now that you mention
They
it.
all lived in the Heights, right? Agnes Martin, Jane Krutsky, Virginia Peters?
Right.
What was the number of the apartment in each case? Agnes lived in 1A, Jane 2B, Virginia 3C. Don't ask me the why or wherefore. Don't ask me the logic. Just playing along crazy. See what I mean? Where's he going to strike next?
Huh? I don't get you.
The next victim of the creeper also lives in the Heights. She's a redhead. Her night lock's been tampered with. She's going to get hers today, and her apartment number's 4D. Well, why are you looking at me? Don't you like my arithmetic?
Pearlie, my wife's a redhead. We live in the Heights. And our apartment number is... You're just a boozy reporter.
Your apartment number?
4D, I told you.
4D, of course. It's pretty late, but I'll have it delivered. I was busy admiring your lipstick, Mrs. Grant. I've nothing like it in stock. 4D, I should have guessed it anyway.
Why?
Well, a face is a number. Believe me, since you've moved into the neighborhood, Mrs. Grant, for me it has a special number, like Double Dandy Delicious Dream. 4Ds, you see?
Go on. Bet you tell that to every customer. Female.
I'm a ladies' man? Like the creeper? What did I say? What's going on in this block? Raw nerves, you can't joke. The creeper, that's all I hear all day. It's mass hysteria. There ain't such an animal.
You don't think so?
I assure you, Mrs. Grant, it's a fairy tale for circulation of the tabloids. I'll send your prescription up with the boy.
No, I'll just wait here for it.
Well, it'll take some time. You should go right home and stay there if you're just getting over the flu. I'll tell you what. I'll deliver it myself. It'll be a pleasure.
No. I'll wait. I may not go right back. I don't want to be there alone. I'm afraid.
Very well. Suit yourself. Have a seat. For heaven's sake, stop me before I kill more.
What?
I cannot control myself. Wait! I was only joking, Mrs. Grant. Wait, Mrs. Grant, your prescription.
It's you, Mrs. Stone.
Why, yes. What's your hurry, dear?
I just got such a scare. Since these awful murders in this neighborhood.
Yes, isn't it terrible? I'm simply frightened to death myself. You walking home?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I'll go with you. It's good we live in the same house.
At least if I had a double lock, but the night one doesn't work.
Oh, really? Well, I have a chain lock besides, and still
The way it is, I sit and shiver when there's a sound at the door.
Can't get a locksmith. Tried all day, but they're all so busy. Mr. Frank on the corner promised to, but didn't know when. Why are they all so busy?
Well, my dear, because every woman in the neighborhood's changing theirs, too. Simply a nightmare. Oh, but don't you worry. We'll stay together this evening. Mr. Stone's out, too. Think of it, we've never visited, though we live right across the hall from each other. Isn't that like a big city, for heaven's sake? Or would you rather I dropped in on you?
Well, I don't know.
Well, make it your place, then. Isn't it horrible, the ghastly things they're saying? The theories, one doesn't know what to think next. You believe the latest?
The latest?
That maybe it's a woman, the creeper?
A woman?
Can you beat it? I just can't imagine how in the world the police figure that, for heaven's sakes. Can you? I say, can you, Miss Grant?
I don't know. I was just thinking of something my husband
Though
said.
I can see where a married woman now, if her husband was faithless, well, I can understand such a theory, because they take my husband now. You've met Mr. Stone, haven't you? Oh, Mrs. Grant, why on earth are you staring at me like that, for heaven's sake?
I don't feel well. I must get home. I feel faint.
But Mrs. Grant, for heaven's sake.
Sobbing with terror, a woman with red hair runs up the dark street, back to her apartment and the door with the broken lock. As the hands of the clock move on towards 12 o'clock and...
Murder at midnight.
And now, back to Murder at Midnight and The Creeper. Back to Georgia Grant, hurrying hysterically through the dark streets towards the apartment with the broken lock on the door.
Good evening, ma'am. Out late, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, you're the new doorman?
Just relieving Charlie. Nice night.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Here, let me ring the elevator for you.
No, you don't have to trouble.
No trouble, ma'am. There. Apartment 4D, huh?
Yeah. How did you know?
Doesn't take long.
When will this elevator come?
Coming now. Terrible things, ma'am. The happenings.
What?
The creeper. It's sort of... Going up?
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down. The ups and downs of life, that's me. I'm a living milkshake, Mrs. Grant. Uh-oh.
What's wrong, Jimmy?
Stuck. Imagine getting stuck between a third and fourth with a production like you.
Get going, Sonny. You want me to report you?
Okay. Can't you take a joke? Maybe I misconstrued that smile you always give me. Maybe you shouldn't ought to smile that way. Fourth floor.
Let me out.
If I drop in later, will you be more receptive?
Oh, home. Oh, thank goodness. Must be going out of my mind. Key. Where's my key? Darn this lock. Darn the lock. Hello. Is the locksmith in yet? Well, I want to know how soon I can get my lock changed. Yes, I know it's late, but he promised. This is Mrs. Grant. Yes, 4D, yes. I know you just explained to me, but I must...
Georgia?
Yes? Yes, so won't you...
I've
please?
been waiting for you.
Don't, you little fool. It's me. Do you want the whole house to... That's better.
What are you doing here?
Oh, don't worry. You haven't got a thing to worry about now. I've come to protect you. Give me the phone. Hello? Never mind about the lock, thank you. Sit down. Make yourself at home. Been waiting here for you. Long time no see, Georgia.
What do you want, Pearlie?
Me? A headline. Your husband wants, too. He wants I should keep an eye on you.
What's that?
Sure. You didn't think Steve and I were acquainted, did you? Oh, yes. From way back. Just met him at a bar.
I don't believe you. What do you mean, keep an eye on me?
Oh, just in case the creep...
Oh. Oh.
You heard of the character?
You're mad. You've always been mad, Pearlie Chase. Where is Steve? Why should he send you here? Why should he think the creeper will come here? What are you doing here?
Told you. Playing along crazy. Got a drink?
You're drunk now. And you're getting right out of here. You're nothing but a no-good rummy.
And you're nothing but a no-good... You finish it. When I took the drink, it was to drown you out, and you know it. I'm still a rum pot, Angel, which means I haven't got rid of you yet.
Get out.
You little two-timing redhead. You're all the same, you redheads. Even a wedding ring can't change you. Oh, don't play the innocent. My business is snooping. I make a living at it between drinks. So your new motto's love thy neighbor, huh? Mr. Stone across the hall? Poor dumb Steve.
I'm warning you. Get out or I'll call the police.
Stay where you are.
All right, Pearlie. What are you doing with that gun?
I wouldn't pick up that phone if I were you. You see, there's a big reward for the creeper and a heck of an exclusive, and I don't want to share it. I'm riding a hunch. Now, sit down, darling. Just play along with me while I play along crazy. Sit down. That's it. Like we're expecting company. Let's have some music. Don't just sit. Let's have some music. I said turn on the radio. That's it. That's the good girl. Dance music. Let's dance. Give me your arm. Let's dance. Like old times. Around and around like my brain. Why you trembling? I still love you, you little fool. Ask me why. I love you. I love you, you lovely redhead. I could kill you and you deserve it. With the radio on, you could scream and no one would hear. I could put my hand on your throat like this and I could strangle you. Why are you crying? Stop it. I'm here to protect you. Stop crying. Cut it, I said. Cut it out. I can't stand it. I never could. Okay. You want me to leave? All right, I will. It's your funeral. What am I saving you for anyway? Where's my hat? In a few minutes, there'll be a knock or a ring, or the door will just open. And you'll be lying in a pool of blood like the other three. Goodbye, my worthless. Give my regards to the creeper.
What if he comes back? He wants to kill me. Somebody wants to kill me. I must lie down. My head is splitting. Kind of frightened me. Jealous spite, that's it. Like the other three. In a pool of blood. Like the other three. Almost 12 o'clock. Any minute now there'll be a knock. Or a ring. Yes?
This is the doorman, Mrs. Grant.
Yes?
The druggist is here with a medicine. Shall I let him up?
A medicine? Yes, let it... No. Don't let that man up.
Want me to bring it up?
No. I'm perfectly all right. I don't need any... I don't need it, you hear? Don't you dare come up. Don't tell him. please, I must have it changed right away. My lock, my door lock. Yes, this is Mrs. Grant. Yes, I do want it. Of course, anyone can get in, anyone. They want to murder me, but I don't know who. It's the creeper. Oh, you'll come right away? Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, but hurry, please hurry, or I'll go out of my mind. Oh, thank the Lord. Like the other three in a pool of blood. Any minute now. A knock or a ring. Who's there?
It's me, dear, Mrs. Stone.
Oh, what do you want?
I've been worried about you. Are you ill?
No, I'm all right, Mrs. Stone. I'm feeling fine.
Open up, dear. Don't you want me to keep you company?
No, thank you. I was just... Oh, stop that.
Do let me in, silly and weird.
No, please, go away. I'm going to sleep. Go away. You hear me? Go away. Hello.
Hello, Georgia. You all right?
Oh, Steve. Steve, I've been frantic. So good to hear your voice. Where are you?
At headquarters. I'm coming right home. Sweetheart, is anything wrong? You said
No, not now. Not when I hear you, Steve. I don't know what came over me all day. I've been imagining things so silly. My nerves.
I'm sorry about supper tonight, honey. I wasn't myself. My job had me down, but now
Oh,
everything's
of course. Forgive me, Steve. I've been bad, wicked. Oh, darling, if you knew what I've gone through tonight, the most dreadful state. And then that... Steve, did you send someone here today?
Pearly Chase?
Then you did?
Yeah, to keep you company. Isn't he still with you?
No, I just got rid of him.
Oh, I wish you hadn't. He's an all right guy. Smart reporter. Lives in the neighborhood, too. Honey, it sounds cockeyed. I mean, Pearlie's theory, but I was kind of worried when I got to thinking, so... Listen, Georgia.
Yes.
Don't let anyone in the house till I get home.
No, I won't, Steve.
Not anyone, do you hear? Not anyone.
Oh, Steve, wait.
What?
Wait, Steve, it's... thank goodness at last now I can breathe easy. Darling, just a minute.
Georgia. Hello, George.
Mr. Frank?
Mr. Frank.
Thank goodness you've come. Please, step in. It's the lock on this door. I want... Just a moment. My husband's on the phone.
Hear me, Georgia.
Steve?
Yeah, what happened? There was something else I wanted to tell you.
It's all right, darling. Everything's all right now, Steve. You needn't worry.
Didn't I just hear you talking to someone? Was that somebody at the door?
No, it's no one, dear. It's just Mr. Frank, the locksmith. What a load.
Georgia, listen, Georgia. That's what I was going to tell you.
What is...
The police are on a new trail. They think maybe a locksmith. Georgia, you're listening? They think maybe the creeper's a locksmith. Get him out, quick.
What nice lipstick you
Georgia,
use,
can you hear me?
Mrs. Grant. Yes. Very nice lipstick.
Georgia.
Very nice.
Can you hear me, Georgia? Georgia, Georgia. Hello, Georgia.
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
Hurry. Catch me before I kill more. For heaven's sake.
Soft footsteps hurrying down the corridor, away from the door with the broken lock, now standing ajar. The body of a red-headed woman. And still, should she not have known that her only visitor would be death? When the clocks struck 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death knocks at the door, wearing a familiar face, and the clocks strike 12 for
Murder at midnight.
The part of Georgia was played by Ann Shepard. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
not just an ordinary cane, my dear.
Alec.
It's a sword cane, see? Calhoun used it when he killed his wife, right where you're standing.
Alec, you killed Sanders.
Exactly.
And now you're going to kill me. Yes. No. Keep away from
I'm
me.
sorry.
Keep away.
My
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The House Where Death Lived. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story is a ghostly nightmare by one of radio's best-known mystery writers, Robert Newman. Its title, The House Where Death Lived. A large, rambling house on top of a hill. A house whose windows are either shuttered or broken. A rusty iron fence surrounds it, and its grounds are waste and uncared for. A car grinds slowly up the hill, stops before the main gate, and two men get out. One of them is gray-haired but vigorous. The other wears a chauffeur's uniform. They push open the heavy gate, start up the gravel path.
Quite a joint. You could hardly expect it to be a show place after being empty for more than 10 years.
It's open.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we didn't have to force it. All right, Sanders. You can go back to the car and wait for me. I should be out in about a half an hour or so.
You mean you're going in alone?
Why, yes. Somehow I don't think you're exactly suited by temperament for psychic research.
Okay, Doc. I'll be waiting for you back in the car.
Right. Now, let's see. I suppose the best place to start would be...
Good evening.
What? Oh, I'm awfully sorry. I hope I haven't made a mistake. This is the Calhoun house, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is very embarrassing. I was down to see the trustees just this morning. They gave me permission to go through the place and told me that there was no one living here, that no one had lived here for many years.
As you can see, that's not quite true. Not that it matters. I lead a rather lonely life, and I'm very glad you came. I'd be more than happy to show you around.
Well, you're very kind. My name is Goff, Dr. Alexander Goff.
Dr. Goff.
For the past few years, I've been specializing in psychic research.
Oh, yes.
You've heard of me?
I'm sorry, no. But I do know that scientists, specialists in psychical research, have been interested in the house for many years. There have been several books written about it.
I read about it in the series of studies that Kinsey did. He said it was one of the most fertile fields for manifestations he'd ever come across. It has a long history of apparitions and hauntings.
That's very true. And now, would you like to look around?
I'd like that very much.
Very well. I imagine the best place to begin is with the cellar. This way.
The cellar. That's where Mrs. Calhoun was killed, wasn't it?
Yes. I keep the door locked now for that and for several other reasons.
May I?
No, wait. Don't try to go down. Have you a match?
Why, yes. There aren't any stairs.
Exactly. That's how Mrs. Calhoun was killed. The stairs had become rotten, and Calhoun took them out, put in that ladder. Mrs. Calhoun didn't know it, and she tried to go down, fell, and broke her neck.
But she wasn't just killed. She was murdered, wasn't she?
Well, that's hard to say. I don't think even Calhoun could tell you whether it was deliberate or not. For a long time, people didn't even suspect what had happened. They thought that she'd run away, disappeared. However, after she was killed, Calhoun buried her down there in the cellar. You see, over there, near that big flagstone.
Oh, I see. Well, after that, there was something about a gardener, wasn't there?
Yes, Burroughs. He had helped Calhoun take out the stairs. Considerably later, he was working in the cellar and found some bones, and he put two and two together
And went to the police.
No, he did a lot better than that, from his own point of view. Shall we go back into the parlor?
Oh, yes, of course.
I'll just shut this door again. There. Burroughs began blackmailing Calhoun. Calhoun paid for a while, and then one day he called Burroughs in here, into the parlor. He was sitting over there at that desk. He had his cane with him. The cane that's on the desk there now. You can look at it if you like.
Oh, thank you. I would like to look at it.
Twist the handle and pull on it.
A sword cane?
Yes. He killed Burroughs right here in this room. That stain on the carpet, there's his blood. This time he didn't even try to get away with it. He called in the police, and he was tried and sent to an institution.
Yes, but that's what I don't understand. If Calhoun had committed 2 murders, why wasn't he sent to jail or hanged?
Because no one knew whether he was sane or not. As a matter of fact, I don't think Calhoun knew himself. You see, when they asked him why he had killed his wife and Burroughs, he said he had to, that he'd been told to.
Told to? By whom?
Well, he wasn't sure. By voices. He said they told him that they lived here in this house before him, that they had killed, and that he would have to kill too.
Excellent. Just what I've been looking for and what I've hoped for. A house with a tradition of hauntings, where each generation is affected by that tradition and adds to it. What's the matter?
They've come for me. They're weighing me down, dragging me back.
They? Who? Oh, you're ill. Here, let me help you.
No, it's no use. You can't pick me up. It's too much on my hands. On my head.
Where is he?
He was there, right there on the floor. I tried to pick him up and put him on the couch, but I couldn't lift him. Now he's gone.
Well, now, look, Doc, if he fell down, if he was as weak as you said it... Hey, wait a minute. Hey, what did he look like?
Well, he was quite old, about 70, and very tall and thin. He had white hair and a white goatee.
Holy smokes.
What's the matter?
Well, I was waiting outside for you. The guy that lives just down the hill came by, and we kind of talked a little.
Yes?
I told him you were inside here, and he described Calhoun to me, the guy that used to live here. And the old gent you say you spoke to sounds just like him.
But it couldn't have been. Calhoun is still in an institution.
No, he's not. At least not exactly. That's how this guy happened to talk about it. You see, he just read in the paper that Calhoun had died yesterday.
Sanders?
Yeah?
That was Calhoun's ghost.
Oh, now look,
It was, I tell you. It has to be. This is what I've been looking for years. An apparition that manifests itself without a medium or any apparatus. It's exactly what I need for the last chapter of my book. And I'm going to stay here until he appears again. Calhoun? Calhoun? Where are you? Why don't you come back? I'm waiting for you. Oh, it's no use. 2 days now and not a sign of him. Maybe Sanders was right. Maybe I did imagine the whole thing. Either that. Wait a minute. He didn't die here. He died at the asylum. He'd lived here all his life, committed 2 murders here. Perhaps the aura, the forces here, were strong enough to evoke him once, but not to bring him back again. His wife and the gardener, they did die here. If I could establish contact, I might be able to evoke them. Or else if someone else died here, someone I knew and someone that knew me. Calhoun! Is that right? Is that what I have to do? What? Who's there?
Hey, Doc. Sanders.
Oh, just a second.
Oh, what a night. It's blowing like all get out.
What do you want, Sanders?
Well, the missus thought she was getting a little worried about you. Thought you might be running low on food.
Oh, no, I still have plenty. I haven't been eating much.
Any luck?
No, he hasn't materialized again, but I'm sure he will. I know he will.
If someone else died here, someone you knew, and someone that knew you.
Yes.
What's the matter, Doc? Hey, why are you staring at me that way? Doc!
I'm sorry, Sanders. Sanders, I was just thinking that if you stayed here with me, it might help.
But I thought you said I was all wrong for this kind of stuff. You know I don't believe in ghosts, anything like that.
I did say that, Sanders, but... Oh, this place is different. This is such a powerful, fertile field for psychic manifestations that I think if you did stay, we could cure your skepticism permanently.
Yeah? How?
Well, this is such a perfect night for an evocation. Listen.
I don't hear anything. Just a storm.
Listen hard. There it is again. It's down in the cellar.
Where's that?
It's back there.
Where?
Go ahead, run. You're quicker than I am, Sanders. Run, hurry.
Okay, but I still don't hear anything.
A man with an obsession in a haunted house. A man with a corpse on his hands as the clock strikes 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
And now, to continue with our story. It's just a moment later, and Dr. Goff is still standing by the open cellar door. Lighting a candle, he peers down to where Sanders' body lies huddled on the flagstones below.
Sanders? Sanders? I think I better make sure. This ladder holds. Well, now, let's see. He's dead, all right. Very dead. Neck broken in 2 places. I'm sorry, Sanders. Very sorry. But science is a hard mistress. I've been working on my book for 7 years. This is the first chance I've had to make detailed and objective observations on a specific set of phenomena. And when Calhoun didn't materialize again, I'm sure you understand. The only problem now is the police. They're apt to be very uncompromising about something like this. If there were only some way that I could... I know. The car. It's quite late and with the storm blowing, there's not likely to be anyone around. Yeah. Oh, come on, Sanders. You and I are going to take a little trip. Now, we're almost there, Sanders. Just a little farther. Now, here we are. Now, let's see. Well, you turned the car around before you came in, so it's headed downhill. Oh, splendid. Very considerate. Now, open the door and put you in. Oh, up. Just make sure you don't fall sideways. That you stay behind the wheel. Yeah, that's it. Oh, is there anything else? Anything I've forgotten? I don't think so. Well, just take the brake off. And shut the door. And wait. There's no telling how far she'll go, especially with the streets so bumpy. I only hope that she'll go far enough to pick up plenty of speed so that when she does... She's swinging. Swinging to the right. Yeah? And now I wait. Sanders? Sanders! Where are you? It's been 4 or 5 days now. Why haven't you come back? Haven't you wanted to? Or haven't you been able to find a way? This is where you died, remember? Down here in the cellar. Are you down there? Sanders? Are you down there? No. Not down there. Not anywhere. What's that? Yes? Oh, who's that? Who's there? What do you want, Jean?
I want to talk. Let me in here, please.
Just a second.
Alec. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, dear.
I asked you, what do you want? Why did you come here?
Why? It's been almost a week now since you've been home. Have you any idea how worried I've been? You didn't even phone me after Sanders was killed.
I'm sorry. I just never thought of phoning you. I had other things on my mind.
How did it happen, Alec?
You read the verdict of the inquest. You probably fell asleep at the wheel waiting for me. The brakes slipped, the car rolled down the hill, and crash.
Poor Sanders. Somehow I can't help feeling...
Feeling what?
I don't know. Perhaps it's this horrible old house. Everything about it. It's just plain evil. Oh, Alec, why don't you give it all up?
Give what up?
This obsession of yours. You started writing a book, doing psychical research to prove that there were no such things as apparitions or ghosts.
Suppose
and now...
I found out that I was wrong.
What?
Yes, what would you say if I told you that I'd already seen one apparition here, and that I was expecting to see another one?
Alec, oh, no.
Oh, yes, Gee. The first evening I came here, I saw Calhoun. I talked to him. He showed me around the house. And later on, I discovered that he had died the day before. I waited for him to come back again, but he never did. And I finally realized why. He couldn't come back because he hadn't died here. He died at the sanitarium. But now, I'm waiting for Sanders to come back.
Sanders? But he didn't die here either. He died?
Yes, Jean.
I don't like it here, Alec. I'm afraid. I'm going.
No, Jean. Don't go. You can help me.
Huh?
Come on in here. Into the parlor.
But Alec...
Come on, Jean. Later I'll tell you a very interesting story about this room, about something that happened here a long time ago.
But All right, Alec.
That's a good girl. You know, Jean, I've just realized I've been very stupid. Calhoun couldn't come back again because he didn't die here. Sanders did die here, but he wasn't buried here. And now I'm beginning to think that a spirit can only materialize in the place where its body is.
But what's that got to do with me?
Dear, does anyone know that you came here tonight?
Why, no, but...
Good.
What do you mean? And what are you doing with that cane?
You remember I said I was going to tell you a story about something that had happened here in this room? Well, this cane played an important part in it. You see, it's not just an ordinary cane. This is a sword cane. It's what Calhoun used when he killed his wife, right where you're standing.
Alec, you killed Sanders.
Exactly.
And now you're going to kill me.
Yes, dear. I am going to kill you. And I'm going to bury you right here, down in the cellar where Calhoun buried his wife. Then at least you will be able to come back. No, don't try and run away. You won't do any good. You see, I locked the door.
No. Keep away from me.
I'm sorry.
Keep away.
My
Help!
dear.
No!
Now, smooth out the gravel a little. She's coming well. There. That ought to do it.
Very nice, Doctor. Very nice indeed. You didn't do quite as neat a job as I did, but you did pretty.
Calhoun.
Yes, Doctor.
You're dead. But you did come back.
Yes, I came back to tell you how grateful I am to you.
Grateful? For what?
For having, shall we say, relieved me. You see, there's a curse on this house. When I was alive and lived here, even before I killed my wife and Burroughs, I saw the ghosts of those who had died before I was born. It was they who made me kill, because once I did kill, they were free.
I don't understand.
Don't you? As long as this house stands, someone must haunt it. Until I died, it was haunted by those whom I had killed. When I died, it became my job. I thought it would be years before I could find someone to take my place, and then you came along.
You mean...
Yes, Doctor, yes, the curse, the evil that was spawned here has been passed on to you. Now it's haunted by those whom you killed, and I am free and can rest in peace. But you must stay here and live with the evil you created until you die.
No, I won't stay.
Yes, you will, Doctor. Oh, I didn't believe it either. I thought I could leave whenever I wanted to, but I found that I couldn't. I had to stay until they took me away. When you try to leave, you'll find out why.
But I won't stay. I tell you, I won't. Neither you nor they can make me stay. Nothing can make me stay. No. What's more, you're right about this place. It is evil. But I'm not going to let that evil continue. It must be destroyed, along with every stick and stone in this house.
And just how do you propose to do that?
I'll show you. With fire. This can of kerosene.
Oh,
that
no.
pile of lumber there.
It won't do any good. Take my word for it.
No, you watch. There. The whole cellar, the whole house will go now.
Yes, Doctor, but you won't go.
I won't. You watch me.
But you can't go without me, Doc.
What?
Don't you remember? You carried me out to the car. You've got to take me with you.
And,
Yes, Doctor, your chauffeur.
Let go of me, Sanders. Let go. I can't take you with me.
And you got to take me too, Alec.
No, Jim, no. Let go. Both of you.
You see, now you know why I couldn't go either. What dragged me back and weighed me down.
Please.
Now you know why you're going to have to stay here.
I won't stay. I tell you, I won't. Not even if I have to take both Sanders and Jean with me.
I'm afraid that won't do any good, Doctor. You see, the ladder isn't very strong.
No! It broke. It broke. I'm trapped here.
Goodbye, Doctor. If you don't mind, I'll leave you now for good.
No! Oh! Somebody!
The flames roar higher and higher as Dr. Goff screams and staggers backward. Far away, a bell starts tolling for
Murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death stretches out his bony hand and the clocks strike 12 for
Murder at midnight.
The part of Dr. Goff was played by Barry Kroger. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.